And then we're transitioning over. Hey, what's the crack, YouTubers? What's the story? Which is how you all keeping? Welcome to this week's Hobby Hangout. I'm your host as always, Skarnir from Plastic Crack Gaming, and this week's guest is Nick from Grayprimer. Say hello, Nick.
Hello, Nick.
Hello,
Yeah,
Nick. What's the?
great to be here.
Oh yeah, well, it's a long time coming, but it's a long time coming. We were having a bit of banter in the GaleCon convention, the online
Uh-huh.
convention, weren't we? Yeah, we were having a bit of a laugh on that. You were chipping away at the paintwork.
I
What?
think I hung in there for all 4 days with just running that little hobby hangout. And there were times when it would be like 2 hours would pass and one person would pop in and go like, "Oh, wrong channel." But then there'd be other times where you'll have like 10 people in there, taking a break between a game, waiting for something to set up. And yeah, we ran to the wee hours a few of those nights as well. So
Yeah, it was good, Craig.
really
Oh yeah, we,
good
we were
show.
we were bouncing in between the BattleTech games. I do remember it. We'd come in and we'd invade in between the online BattleTech games, and it was good crack, man. I enjoyed that actually. I've never done like an online convention before, but I did enjoy it. It was a bit of banter. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was there with one other guy right at the very end on the fourth day, and I think I switched off the lights because there was nobody left in the Discord at that point.
They were all
But
uh, they were all worn out. I thought, yeah, no, we were there a bit on Monday, but fair play to you. You stuck to the.
the bitter end.
That's it. You drank it down to the dregs. Fair play to you, like. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Nick has his own channel, Grayprimer, and yeah, if you want to tell people about your channel, what you do on it, what's your shtick, and
Cool.
I'll throw a link in. There should be a link in the description, guys, for his
Thank you
channel.
very much. Yeah, I mean, I started Grayprimer because I just got back into the hobby. I'd been back into it for a few years, and I was taking a huge amount out of YouTube, and I was giving nothing back. And I was like, I'm getting these great kits and I'm building everything. And I'm like, there's probably people out there who'd want to see this as well. Maybe it'd save them a few quid if the kit isn't great, or maybe
Mm.
it would, sort of tip them over the edge if they were like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. And that's really where it started. It was actually originally going to be just Blood Bowl. It was going to be Blood Bowl dedicated. I'd probably have about 10 followers if I'd done that to this day. Uh, but I would have had a lot of fun. I think I've got like 61 unpainted Blood Bowl teams sitting on shelves in my house. So
I,
it's
I was just thinking, like, you would have only had 10 followers, but they would have been hardcore as hell. You know what I
totally
mean?
the faithful,
You're right or die crew. You know what I mean? There to the bitter end.
Yeah, but and that's kind of where it developed from. Doing some sort of miniatures board games like from Come On and people like that. Doing a lot of Warhammer and then sort of dipping into independents like Raging Heroes and Shield Wolf miniatures and Mantic. um, and getting good buzz back from them as well. It's I think it is good to sort of focus on the independents as well. Although if you looked at my channel, you'd just be like, it's just Warhammer.
I don't
Yeah.
know. No, I get you. No, I do get you. I'm starting to get like that a bit myself. Do you know what I mean? I'm starting to like. I was primarily 40k orcs, and I think I'm just going through a sort of a personal transition myself. With the hobby, where I'm trying to branch out and do other things just for myself. It's not a case of I'm just trying to promote this or that. It's just like when I'm doing it with the channel, it's whatever I'm doing. So like the
Mm.
missus bought she got into painting miniatures. She's now interested in building them or playing the games or whatever. I'm like, that's cool, that's cool. She wants to just paint miniatures. So even in that, we were looking at trying to find out. It's like what miniature lines can you get that you don't have to assemble? Because like
Right.
imagine giving someone who's new into the hobby that Necromunda box set you did an unboxing for. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my gosh, I
Like
know.
they there you go. There's a mountain of sprue. I know you've no interest in building stuff, but they are love. That'll get you started. They'll run to the
21
hills.
sprues in total.
Ugh. It, I was impressed. It was a fat stack, all right. I was well
Serious.
impressed. It's
So I actually edited a bit out of that footage because I talked about embedding media into the work that I'm doing. So and I'll explain that. When I was doing those wall units, and you know, the little round units that all click together.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Kelly's Heroes, so I will always associate that scenery with Kelly's Heroes. There's just no way around it. And there's certain kits that I've built, and I'll associate it with like certain Black Library books that I'm listening to on audio, or
Yeah.
streams that I'm watching. Yeah, it's just when I'm doing something mundane like that, if I have something playing in the background, it'll always be associated with that. I think it's just my brain.
No, I get you. It's like there's it happens to me for video games as well. Do you know it's happened quite a lot for when I used to play a lot of Minecraft back when it first came out?
Right?
I'd have a song playing and say there's a specific map or a specific like map that will have generated. When I hear that song, I'll remember what that part of the map I was in looked like. You know what I mean? Like I'll remember me way
Yeah.
around. Like the map's long gone. That generation of the of that specific seed is long gone. But you know, it'll attach in there. No, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. Definitely, yeah. I do know what you mean in that regard. It's interesting.
It's like it tags it forever.
Yeah,
And it's always going to be there.
it's anchored in there, attached to it.
Yeah. But I mean, as the amount of pain that you go through to build like a kit like that with that amount of scenery, it's so worth it when it's done. Like you could stand on those little units; they're so tough.
They do look it.
Incredible.
Oh, they do look it. When we were cracking on about the Bane Blade, because I built a couple of Bane Blades. Bane Blades. I built a couple of Bane Blades. I've a couple still, but I think I've built like two, and then I've sold some off over the years because I used to be at the Space Wolves back in the day. They were my first sort of 40k army, and
Yeah.
I built a couple of them. So as soon as you were talking about like the track sections, how it's all a bit flimsy until you put the top part on them, and then it's like a brick. I was like, oh yeah. I totally got the same vibe even back then. It was like the kit. It's interesting how you go through the same sort of inner monologue thought processes of building something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When
And
sort
another
of
bit of unscreened footage was I tried to see how many poxwalkers I could fill into the cavities in the tracks, and I got up to 22.
Oh, they're big, man.
Then it was where I wasn't going to get them back out, so I just thought I better stop this.
You're having a bit of sure, why not? Having a bit of crack with it. Yeah, I'm working for anyone watching. I'm working on the War Boss. What else do I have on the table? There's the Behir. I don't do Dungeons and Dragons. I did back in the day. I don't know about yourself, Nick, but I did back in like 3.5, like back in 2007 or 8 or whatever. So I've no idea what this is, but like I said, the missus was getting into painting some miniatures. She bought this kit. It was a multi-part build. So I bought it myself so that I could build along and help her with it. And then we're both painting. So she's painting one and I'm painting one. But we're doing different colours. So that's what's on my painting table is this one. I've never painted a Reaper Bones before or anything like this. I was trying to do something like a purple colour with its mouth. But I'm mucking around with it. Visually, I was like, I wanted to be red with like a black mane and a yellow stomach. As soon as I saw the miniature, that's what I was thinking. But after that, I'm just like, I don't know. I'll dry brush a bit of orange or something, and I haven't decided what to do with the horns. But yeah, it's weird like this. Have you used got any of the Reaper Bones minis? It's like this flexible.
Yeah, it's got there's like a rubber or something they put into the plastics to give it that. Like you can drop them on the floor and they're going to be fine.
Yeah, you'd bounce this off the wall and it'll probably bounce back and hit you like that sort of.
Yeah. I did the like 2 unboxings of the Mighty Lancer Games subscription box from Reaper.
Yeah,
they're really something special, I gotta say.
I'd be tempted by subscription boxes, but it's just, you know what I mean. I've already too much stuff. Like I don't know if you've seen the BattleTech unboxing I did. I was like, oh Jesus. I was like,
quality though, and some of that stuff I was blown away.
Oh, it is really good stuff, man. I'm well chuffed with it. There was only one item in there that I was a bit confused about, but apart from that, you know, everything else I was 100% happy with. But you know, maybe that was just down to me not understanding exactly what it was. But
sure.
Yeah, no.
No, Reaper. I mean, I'm a big fan of their their stuff. They've got like if you've been on their website, they've I don't know what it's like 32 pages of minis. And there's just everything in there. Like if you're into D&D or if you're into like just collecting dragons or something, there's
Mm-hmm.
just a bunch of stuff, and there's some really really good quality sculpts as well. And maybe they're let down a little bit by that sort of rubbery finish.
I'd say so. Yeah. Even when I was looking at this one, I'd reckon it'd be nicer if it was in metal. Do you know what I mean? Or
Yeah, and they do harder plastics as well, so you just pay that bit extra for them. They
mm.
kind of have their bones range, I think it's called, which is like the basic, and then you go up to like the black range, which I think is like their higher end. I could be wrong in those terms, but well worth checking out that website. But the subscription boxes tends to be really good value. I haven't been disappointed yet with it. The only thing is, it's if they're sending it to Ireland, it's not the additional postage makes it a bit sort of a tougher pill to swallow.
It kills it a bit,
Uh,
does it?
yeah, but if you get it sent, if you have like an address in the UK or like Parcel Motel or something like that, it's really good. Yeah,
Yeah, because I
the
remember
price
watching your
is
video when
right.
you were getting it sent up to your folks in
Yeah,
Northern Ireland. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because you had like 3 or 4, didn't you? And you were sort of
uh-huh. Yeah.
they were holding on to them for you during the plague.
So now I get them to write the month that it arrived in on, because it's always just like I have no idea,
Not
and
no
only
not
occasionally will they be themed.
no lucky dip for you then. It's like I've no idea what this month is, but we'll go for
Yeah.
it. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, no, it
He's
looks
really
it looks great.
responsive as well. The guy who runs that store, Mighty Lancer Games, Nathan. He's like in the videos I was saying like, it'd be cool to have a sticker. It'd be cool to have dragons, and then 2 months down the line there's stickers and dragons. And I'm like, whoa.
Well, that's what you want, man.
Yeah,
That's always a good sign is that someone's takes feedback on board and reacts to it so well and
for
quickly.
sure.
That's definitely a positive thing. So that's good. So Mighty Lancer Games, is it like an independent store that does the loot boxes themselves, or
They
what
do.
way?
So they have they moved to a store in Bridlington in East Yorkshire, just at the start of the pandemic. So
Oof.
they got this brand new premises and stuff. But thankfully, they've been running a really good online store. Um, and they had to have this like huge wall of Reaper. So every month you get like just a selection, and I think the box is like £20 a month, but you'll normally get like 25, 26, even higher than that value in it. And occasionally they'll throw in a Reaper paint, and that's kind of cool to see those as well, because that's not something we get in the stores here. Very
Yeah, no, me
not too
missus
many of
got
those around.
some free stuff in her order from Reaper, their distributor in the UK. I think she did over
Oh,
fifty
cool.
pounds, and yeah, she got a couple of paints. I think she got like an ethereal sort of miniature as well, free. And I was well impressed. I
Mm,
tried to buy the same miniature she had. She bought a griffin, which looked really cool. And then what else does she
okay.
have? I have a couple of them here. Because the whole thing was to try and sort of paint the same miniatures together. So there's
Hmm.
like I think there's like young dragons, and then so she liked the dragons. I put this one on one of the GW bases that I had spare off of the
Oh,
on
nice.
the what was it? It was from the Kill Team set. Do you know the Mechanicus guys? They have like a guy with a sniper rifle or something.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I put him on that on a base. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my years of being with GW stuff. I was like I like
You
putting
always with
stuff
the
on
base.
bases. Yeah, but even like D&D wise, I don't know. Miniatures just look better on bases to me. And then there's like what's this? A dragon uh that she got as well. So the two of us we haven't gotten to that one yet. I think
Hmm.
we'll finish our beheres and then decide what project to go on next. And then I was like, sure, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the old Monty Python Jabberwocky. So I saw a Jabberwock and I
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Wait,
I
do we have the same exact dragon?
I don't know. Do we? Hold on. Which I have. It's I don't know what it's called. Are you holding up? Hold on. Give me a sec. See if I
Yeah.
can get a close cam going. Yeah, I think we have the same exact dragon.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
this
same one.
arrived in the last box I got from my Answer.
Yeah, nice. Well, there you
Very
go,
cool.
Nick. You can
Yeah.
we can brainstorm about color concepts.
Colors.
I was thinking gold. Hold on, we'll go.
Don't know if you can see this little guy. He's a little D20. Oh, am I off camera? There he is.
Oh, I see. Yeah. He's a
Yeah.
D20 with a sword and a shield. Oh,
Yeah,
nice,
that's it.
nice.
Very cute. Yeah.
Sweet.
Reaper as well.
Yeah, the Reaper Bond series. I was impressed with them, to be honest with you. If you're wanting to just paint miniatures, which is what me missus wanted, she just wants to paint miniatures, and they're like, even buying them individually, they're cheap enough. I think I bought the two dragons, the Bahir, and a baby dragon or something for 40 something quid or something like that. It's not, you know what I mean, or
Okay,
something.
yeah, it's not bad.
Something in that region, with postage. It was less than 50 quid or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's all right. That's grand. Yeah, I have no idea what colours I want to do with the Jabberwock, but I saw it and I liked the look of it, and I was like, I'll give it a go. It's weird, the material. I'm not used to it. The give that's in it, like, there's a bit of...
Yeah,
You
I
can
think
wobble them.
when I first started spraying them to prime them, I was concerned that the first time it flexed, it was just gonna all
Crack.
flake off.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. I mean, I use sort of I think it's called, let me see, a Rust-Oleum primer. That one there from Woody's, which is a outdoor, or a sort of, what do you call it, like a DIY store in Ireland.
Woody's.
But
Yeah.
Rust-Oleum is a big global brand, and that gives a very flat matte gray, but it seems to have a little bit of flex to it as well. So no bother on the Reaper whatsoever.
Well, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Because I was worried about that when I was hearing that there's like it's a flexible material, but you know, it seems to hold up. And I don't know what their own paint line is like. Apparently it's formulated for that sort of thing.
Or so they'll tell you anyway.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what they all say to you anyway. It's like our specific one. We'll say hello to the people into the comments section. We're not ignoring you. I do apologise. We're having a look. Pokes here, Orc stuff, Essex boys, Rivets and Daka, the hobby gets here. What's the crack? We have Dave is here as well. Brack's here. What's the story? Who else? Roxy's here. And D-Sun is here as well. What's the story, folks? There's loads. Augustus is here.
Cool.
How are your commandos coming along? Augustus is asking me. My commandos have slowed down in their progress. I was trying to find what's that specific type of German camo? It's not I forget. There's a specific. I can't even. Hold on, I can't even remember. I'd have to dig out the old.
Like, is it modern or?
No, I think it's like World War II. It's not Splinter camo. I know Splinter camo because I bought the big case from Vallejo. I bought their Panzer Aces one.
Oh, nice. Those cases are class as well.
Oh, they're brilliant, man. They are. I love them for the cases as well. I think it's one of these camos. I think I was looking for .P or something, or oak leaf, or I was thinking of doing something along that lines for them. Instead of doing them in grey, I wanted to do an extra special type of camouflage. Now that Forge World no longer sort of sell the kit for these commandos, I was like, ooh, well, I need to give them some special treatment. So yeah, I'll definitely have to scratch something together for them. Do something decent. But yeah.
You know the inserts that come with those massive packs of Vallejo, that's sort of like with all the, it's like a weird, really strongly smelling foam. It's,
is that what the smell is? Every time I crack it open, I'm like, that smells chemically, but strangely nice.
Yeah, it is. There's a sweetness to it, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend eating it. But I use it for the out of focus backdrop and some of my Instagram stuff for the channel.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, it works out really cool.
Crafty. The tricks of the trade, I'll have to take notes.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And I'm still not, I mean, I was a photographer from about 97 and did like press and sports work. And and I'm still not used to just using my phone. But everything on Instagram is just with the phone. But all of my real photo gear is sitting off to the side, like feeling unloved. But the phones are incredible, and I
They've
think once
come
you get
on leaps and
yeah,
bounds like phones. They're really impressive. Like I've got a lend of a DSLR or whatever you call them off of the Mrs. Skarnir to try and take pictures of stuff. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I'm not notorious for having miniatures painted, so you know, like
Yeah,
I'll
that's why
take
my
real.
channel's called Grayprimer.
Exactly. You were onto it as well. You cottoned on very early on there, Chief. I'll give you that much. Fair play to you. I went for plastic crack. You went for grey primer. It's like you know, great minds think alike.
Park in the same garage. Yeah,
That's it. That's it. Know what side our bread is buttered on.
I do feel a certain amount of shame though when I look and I think I bought 2 of those big packs of Vallejo paints. I've got a range of Citadel ones as well. And in front of them on the shelf are just gray Marines and gray Orcs and all these Bloodball teams. It's just shameful.
I think the
The
problem that we have is the problem that a lot of people are going to have with the hobby, in that the rate at which you can buy miniatures is much more voracious, shall we say, than the rate at which you can paint them.
yeah,
I mean, if there was a limit to what you could buy in regards to what you've already painted, it may help. You know what I mean? If there was on the websites, have you painted your last batch of miniatures? No, I'm sorry.
oh, like the robot check box
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. Check box.
yeah, and then you have to supply them with images of like your cabinet, your IKEA cabinet, and it has to be full of painted miniatures for you to proceed to checkout.
That's
I
it.
love that.
That would be the only way. I mean, they'd lose an arm and a leg if that was the case, but I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
the only way. Especially with
but
all
then
of
a
this.
Kickstarter, you get a Kickstarter and there's like 200 miniatures in it, and you're like, well, I'm never going to catch up to that.
Well, see, I don't know. This is the first time I've done a proper Kickstarter. Like, have you
Okay.
done quite a few yourself?
No, I've got a few inbound. I've got Wolfenstein, Bloodborne, probably another one I'm forgetting. And I know they're heavy with the minis, especially Bloodborne. It's due out I think next month or due to ship next month. But definitely anytime I've got one of those command games like Zombicide or Massive Darkness, you're just you're talking 70 minis in each of those boxes.
Mm.
And I think a lot of the sculpts will be very similar. So you wouldn't be inspired to go and put effort in. Not me anyway. It would take a lot for me to crack those open and start to paint them.
Oh, I get you. One of the guys was painting up some of his Zombicide miniatures in our last hobby hangout last week, and he's throwing up the uh, the work in progress pics. But even when you get, I find it amazing. Even when you get a lot of the same type of sculpts, you can get some decent visual variation just by changing the colors up
Oh sure, yeah,
between the clothing. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I could imagine if you're not digging it 100%, it's a bit of a slog.
yeah. I mean the minis are glorious, but I'm the worst because I'll retask them for. I'll think, oh, that's good in the Nurgle Blood Bowl team, or that one's going to be good over in that human team, and I'll just be like yoinking them out of the box and putting them into these things on another shelf. And then somebody actually says, "Oh, can we play like Massive Darkness?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to just double check what was supposed to be in that box before we
Before we crack on with it, yeah.
before we crack on." But some of those minis that Come On are coming out with are just glorious.
I
They-
don't
they
know.
do
I've
good work.
see, like my friend, Ant Dim. He's the hobby git. He does the hobby git channel. He's embraced Kickstarter wholeheartedly, and it's like Jesus. I've seen what happens once you fall down that rabbit hole. So I think I've been a bit hesitant, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
With going too full bore. I was looking at like some of the Reaper Bones ones that they have now, and I was just like, oof, that's a fair chunk of minis.
yeah. Number 5, I think, came out. I think that was the last big release they had.
Yeah, I think you can like late back or buy into it, but I was thinking to myself, yeah, it's great value, but it's like, it's. I think I'll just stick to like one or two. Says the man who's got a wheelbarrow load of battle mix beside him. But you know, it's always the way. You have good intentions at the start. You know,
Definitely
it's
do.
always the same.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's why I got back into the hobby initially, was just because I'd been into it in the sort of the 90s, and then life got in the way a little bit. Put it in a box in my mum's attic and kind of forgot about it. But when I came back to it, I found it was really like a therapeutic thing at the end of a day at work, where I'd sit out in the garden and I'd paint. And that's where all my focus was at the start, painting. Then you start to fill your shopping cart, and this set comes in, then this set comes in, and then you start to find you're going behind, and the gray is building up, and then it's out of control. But I think maybe with with a bit of self discipline, could have stayed on top of it, and click that box in the cart. Yeah.
I'm sure once we find that person, we'll have to get the sage advice off of them about how it happens. I've yet to come across that person yet, but I'm sure they're out there. Yeah, we're all in the same sort of boat. No, I get what you mean. Any time I've sort of introduced people into painting miniatures who aren't really into gaming or wargaming or that type of stuff, they like that sort of zen aspect of just sort of chilling out and painting, and they always seem very surprised by it as well. It's like, oh wow, I didn't expect 3 hours to just disappear. It's like, yep.
Right, it kind of sneaks up on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just find that I was kind of listening to my breathing and stuff, and it had gone really slow and deep, and I was just I was thinking about nothing but just what it was painting in front of me, and I thought this was incredible. And yeah, I because I don't mind painting, I just don't seem to get time for it. I just have,
Yeah.
especially with the channel, and you're kind of thinking of, okay, I've got to be on top of editing or the Instagram side of things or Reddit, and I think all of these things accumulate to sort of leave you with a tight band of time where you're like, oh, I suppose I better do family stuff in
Yeah.
act like a human.
Yeah. Get out and sort of socialize to whatever degree you can. Obviously, like, we're in lockdown here at the moment, so it's like, but yeah, I think it's been a strange one in that regard. Like,
Yeah.
thinking to myself, oh sure, I'll get a lot of miniatures painted during lockdown. It'll be fine. Yet again, I'm sure I'm not the only one who said that to themselves.
Yeah.
But
So what do you do when you're not when you're hobbying and you're not streaming? Do you listen to Audible or music or?
I tend to chat in the Discord quite a lot. So we have an Orc community Discord that Dim has thrown a link up for there. We tend to jump into that Discord. I think I shot you an invite for that as well there, Nick.
Yeah,
I think you're another one. We tend to pop into there, or I play I don't just do wargaming. Like most people who are probably into tabletop wargaming, there's video games, there's and a million and one things to keep yourself distracted with. But I do a fair chunk of hours when it comes to work, so it all depends. You know yourself.
Sure. Yeah, it's funny. Video games have kind of just fallen by the wayside for me, and I think it's just because of I don't have the best internet connection in the house, and so many of the Warhammer games rely on a solid internet connection. I think it was only Space Marine on the Xbox 360 where it was
offline mode.
Yeah, it's just like a really solid grind of an offline mode, and unfortunately, a lot of orcs died in the making of that video
I
game.
know. I think I was outraged when it initially came out. I was less than impressed with the imperial propaganda.
No option to play as the other side.
Oh yeah, man, that always breaks me heart when that happens. It's like, all right, so you've bothered to go through the process of making orc assets, but you don't let us play as them. It's like, come on. It's not the end of the world. Like, come on, let us play as orcs. Are you afraid we'll have too much fun? Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. I think that's exactly what it is.
That was Ultramarines, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was Ultramarines and fighting against orcs and then chaos at the end, and it was a good game. It's a good game. I enjoyed it. It was good crack.
I think I have a dozen Ultramarines decal sheets now.
Oh,
I think
why
that's
don't do you bother with the decal sheets for the miniatures?
I'd have to paint first, and then I could worry about the decal sheets.
It's like there's other stages beforehand that sort of need to be gotten
Yeah,
to before we get to there. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
you're just collecting.
oh no, I'm the same myself. I always have the issue of I don't know why I've never really gotten into using decals, but you know I've always had the problem where I've played with unpainted miniatures and sort of embraced it. It didn't bother me because they were always gaming pieces for me first, and sort of
Sure.
miniatures for painting second or third. You know what I mean? I used to be more into the gaming side and the tactics and the gameplay more so than other aspects. But I think that's shifted a fair bit myself at this point.
Mhm.
I'm not mad into painting, you know, but I can see the appeal of it. We're supposed to be painting our war bosses, so that's what I'm chipping away on here. I'm supposed to have this done ages ago. I'm terrible for that. I'm terrible for the.
Oh yeah.
I'll get this done. I'll get that done, and then 2 years later, it's still sitting sort of half built or half painted. I'm terrible for that.
And I think that's why every week on my channel I say next episode is this, because it locks me into that. So if it's not
Ah,
fully finished or edited at that point, which invariably it's not, I'm like, oh, I've already I've already
you've
told people
committed
that
yourself. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Bloodball snotlings or something next week, so I better get them done.
Nice. So you're doing one video a week, are you?
One video a week. For November, I'm doing 2 a week. So it's just Necromunda the whole way through November. And this is what I'm currently on today is Delac.
Hold on. We'll do a guess. Close cam. Click, click. Boom.
Hey, so these are kind of sci-fi goths, I guess. Um, I haven't actually read the lore of the Delac gang yet, but they're kind of creepy looking dudes. There was a movie called Dark City. I don't know if you saw that,
Dark City.
where it was about this kind of this world where when you slept, they changed it around. It was this like huge experiment, and
No.
creatures that looked much like these dudes were changing like where the city blocks were or where people lived. Like you could actually be uprooted from your family and wake up with a different family with no memory. And they were sort of imprinting the memories of that person. And there was one person who sort of gradually became aware that this was happening and tried to reveal the conspiracy. But it was creatures that looked like those wandering around, reforming the cityscape. So pretty cool movie actually.
Well, but is it like 90s or 80s? It sounds very. Or is it more
Uh,
recent?
90s, I think, probably late
Yeah.
90s.
I was like, that sounds something like from the 90s, probably. I like it.
Mm.
Yeah, I know a little bit about Necromunda, but I haven't really dipped me toe in the more recent edition. I played the older one, and I remember the deluxe from there, but they were sort of like trench coat wearing jeans with spectacles and bald head type chaps. So
Yeah.
they've changed the aesthetic and the lore a little bit from what I gather. I wouldn't know. Like, have you gotten into the lore as well aspect of Necromunda? It seems like it's your
So
shtick.
yeah, I mean, generally before I'll put a video up, I'll go and I'll be reading through the books and just to make sure that I know more or less what I'm talking about. But so with these gangs, they're very they have their each gang has its own lore, has its own kind of approach to life in the Underhives, and some of them are really interesting. Like the Goliaths are kind of these vat grown beasts. Like they're almost ogre sized. And they're very cool. Like they don't last very long. They don't live long, but they burn bright. And there are other ones that are just like the cops of the Underhive, the Palanites they'd be connected to, I guess, the Imperial Fists. But I think that the sort of the story behind Necromund is really cool. That they kind of just the Adeptus Astartes found it by accident, found the system, and then realized that it was very close to Earth, and kind of thought like, "Hey, you guys, do you want to worship the god emperor and everything would be cool. And they were like, no, we kind of want you to work for us. And they were like, no, death and despair to you all.
The
Left a
Imperial
few,
way.
right? They just came in and smashed down on the system. And it left it with sort of I think a few planets or something. I don't know this, the exact, but one of those was sort of the Necromunda, and it turned into this incredible sort of hive and underhive society where the higher up you are, the better your life, the lower down you are, the closer you are to sort of the worst of the violence and the carnage. And keeping the peace within all of this is a kind of imperial type of police force, these Palanites. But pretty cool. Yeah, I think there's something in there for everyone, and it plays very much on multi-level. I think the first edition maybe had a lot of sort of reusable cardboard scenery, and you could make it whatever way you wanted.
Yeah, man, the
Yeah,
bulkheads and the cardboards, that
right.
was golden. It
Yeah,
really was. It was
and
so
then I think
simple, but you got so much out of it. I think that's.
and it was tough as well. You
Mm,
would think cardboard would just be trashed within a few plays, but I think people still have those kits knocking around that they're still using quite regularly.
oh, definitely, yeah. It was surprisingly resilient.
But Underhive, which was the first of the Necromunda videos I did, it was 2016 release, I think, something like that. But it had nothing. It had a few like doors and barricades, and I think that they thought maybe they could go for these hard cardboard tiles more, and that people would be like, okay, here you go, here are tiles to play on. I think there's sort of the resounding response from the community was like, no, we want to go up.
Yeah, that
Wanna,
seems like
yeah,
seems like a bit of a downgrade for it. Because I remember Necromunda was very three-dimensional. It was
yeah,
very heavy on the terrain. Because I can specifically remember, like, you'd be looking at the high points on your side, or like the two of you would set up the table, so it'd be an absolute mishmash of buildings, and then you'd be on one side and the other, and then you'd be trying to put like your heavy with his heavy stubber on a good vantage point, so he could spray the enemy as they come in, and then the other guy would put his heavy on the other, like, you know what I mean, and then you just
yeah,
duke it out, like, yeah, it was good crack, man. I do remember Necromunda being
yeah.
great crack.
Well, I mean, that Dark Uprising is much more back into that. It's just it uses those heavy plastics rather than cardboard,
Mm.
which really inflated the price of it. But
I'm not even brave enough to ask.
like, thankfully, I didn't buy that one. That was a friend of mine who loves painting and loves playing, doesn't like to build. So he
So you've got a deal going on. I see,
offers
smart
up a
man.
lot of stuff to me. I unbox it, I build it for him, prime it, give it back, and everyone's happy.
You've got a
uh,
sweet deal going on there. That's
yeah,
nice, nice. That's one
but
way
yeah,
to get around it.
it's a crazy price tag on it. But what you get for that, and the amount of games you're going to get out of it, the amount of years of play you're going to get with those game pieces, yeah, it's probably worth it in the long run.
It's the same with anything really. It's like value and worth is relative to the individual. So one guy who's going to buy the box set, put it together, paint it, and then it's going to sit there, and he doesn't get to play with it, is not going to get as much value as someone who
No, for sure.
puts it together and gets to play with it on the regular with his mates, and they have great crack
Yeah,
out of it. It's each individual, each to their own.
yeah.
But yeah, it does look like an impressive set. I was in awe at the girth of the box. It was like Jesus.
Have you ever like? I'd actually the Baneblade box was sitting underneath when I was doing that, and it was only afterwards I kicked myself because it's big as well.
Yeah,
But
they
no,
re
Dark Uprising's bigger.
they reboxed the Baneblade though, didn't they? They made it because it used to be this big, wide sort of like the starter box set.
Yeah, and it's
I know it's a conversation. We're comparing sizes of boxes. You know what I mean? Well, I remember it being wider back in my day.
And it was only when I was editing it the other day I said about the most recent version of Bloodball being the size of the old Necromunda box, and I was like, that's the I'm now I'm talking about the 2016, and I was waiting for someone to comment. It's like, actually, there's a 2020 edition coming out. It's like,
Oh,
I
that's
know.
true. Yeah, that is true. Mind you, I don't know if that box, that 2020 box, do you reckon it's going to be like a limited run one, like they did with sort of like Indomitus?
I don't think so. I mean, there are like new elements within it. You get the two big guys and you get the referees, and they've never done that before. And
then the two special characters, so there's like Varag Ghoulchiller as well,
oh
like
yeah, and Griff.
yeah, and Griff. So that's what I was thinking maybe that's gonna be like a limited run box. I'd be surprised,
Yeah.
like because the difference between that one and the previous box, which I only bought recently myself for the Orc team, like there's a big difference. So I'd expect the price difference between them to be pretty substantial as well. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to live. What was the 2016? It comes in about what, €85 or something like that.
Something around, yeah, it's in and around that range.
Pounds, €85. Yeah. I was when I saw that they were doing the two big guys and the referees and then the two special characters, I was thinking €120,
At
€130,
least,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, definitely.
But no, I don't think they'll do it as a limited. And
I
I think
hope
as long
not.
as we don't say that out loud too
She's
often,
like,
they'll not do it as a limited. Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about. Moving on, moving on, moving on quickly.
But I'm looking forward to it. I think the sculpts are beautiful.
They look good. There's the new Black Orcs that they're doing, because isn't it a new team for the Black Orcs? I don't know about the human side, but that's I'm biased. I'm not really interested in humans.
Right.
I'm like, ooh, orcs.
Well, I mean you get the Black Orcs and they come with a troll, and then whatever that human sort of highborn fancy pants with the feathers sticking out of their hats and stuff, they come with an ogre. So it's all brand new. No, wait, the big guys aren't brand new sculpts. They're the standard ones you can stand.
Like Varag's new, isn't he? And then Griff's new, and I think are the refs new? I'm not too sure.
Refs are new as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen those before.
I don't peruse the old Bloodball stuff too much. But
It's funny though that they did the Black Orcs for the 2016 release. I think there were like 2 or 4 of them in that box. I can't remember.
There's two. But there's literally just 2 sculpts.
Huge.
But they're all right. Like I think the thing, like I have a couple here. If you look at them, it's like the Black Orc, and then I think this one here is a Blitzer. I think it's like the angle of them. They're big enough, but they're not too big. Do I have like a 40k knob handy? If I did, you know, you might think I would have prepared beforehand. Oh, there we go. I have a WA banner knob. That'll have to do.
Honestly, this isn't scripted.
Not at all. Not in the slightest. Yeah, they're like a little bit taller. But I suppose the pose that they have them in, there's only one pose for the Black Orcs from what I remember. Which I was like, but sure, what can you do? Because I if I remember correctly, it's literally like if you buy the Orc team, it's 2 of the same sprue, and then the core box set is the same 2 sprue again. So
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed it with the sculpts of the Orcs though. They've made them beefier in some regards, but then they've shrunk the heads. So the heads have been shrunken down to sort of accentuate. Oh, there's a normal knob with a power claw. So actually, yeah, there's not.
Yeah, there's not that much.
There's not that much between them.
We're pretty top heavy.
But they are substantially broader across the shoulder with the way they've done the armor. They do look broader across the shoulder, but the heads are slightly smaller in the jaw. The way the sculpt is, the sort of what do we call it? The Roid Rage sort of pinhead look they're going for with the Orcs. That's sort of, but that seems the way they're going with them. They've smaller heads because it was the same sort of trend that we saw with the new Gazgul. It was the same sort of thing where Gazgul himself and his body is substantially huge, but I don't have one to hand built because I still haven't built one. But his head, it was shrunk down in comparison to the previous sculpt, which I thought was kind of, it's just a sort of an interesting evolution of style as it is to see within Games Workshop and the direction that they're going with them, which sort of gives me ideas then of what way the sculpts are going to be if they do get around to redoing the Orc boys, or if they redo like the knobs or other key parts of the army. I'm thinking to myself, looking at the direction that they've gone with current ones, I'm like, oh, it'll probably go this way. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Like the weird thing with those orcs that came with the 2016 Blood Bowl, though, I like the expanded polystyrene pitch from Blood Bowl second edition, the one in, I think it was like 98, 99, something like that. No,
I've
wait,
seen them.
88, 89.
I was about to say, isn't that older again? Yeah.
So I love that pitch. I have two of them, so you can play Mega Blood Bowl or Mega Bowl, which is the crossed over one.
It's 4 pitches and a cross.
That's it, yeah. So you can have like 4 teams. You can have a ball in the middle with that they all sort of just, Destruction Derby style, just clamber into. Or you can have you can roll a d4 and select a team, something like that. So I love that pitch, but it's sculpted at 25 mil. So 32 mil bases don't work. And I thought, well, that's fine. I'll convert all these new orcs to 25 mil bases.
Good luck with that one. All their stances, I've noticed that as well. Every single one of their stances, it's like super wide. I think it's rare that there isn't. Like the Blitzer sort of like leaning forward. You get away with it with him. But I think it's funny. It's like one of the things people were saying about moving to 32mm bases was, they won't be overlapping their bases anymore. It's like, no, they just sculpt them bigger and fill out the base.
Yeah,
it's like
that lasted about 5 minutes,
if even. I think it's funny. You get like the squat stance with the bigger bases, and they're all pretty much like, if you look at the pose of them, they all like base edge to base edge. It seems to be a habit that Games Workshop designers have, and I'm sure probably of other miniature lines as well, where they're just like, bigger base, we can fill it.
Have them stand wider
stance, wider. I was imagining in jest where the bases just keep getting bigger and bigger to the point where the miniature is just sort of doing the splits to sort of fill it.
Like 60 mil bases.
Yeah. Or those
they've got ruptures.
Or I could imagine people playing with the McFarlane toys and putting them on bases and just playing 40k that way. I was like, gosh, sure, why not, lads?
What was that game, Inquisitor, where it had like the 54 mil scale or something?
The big
like
boys,
that?
Yeah. We'll get there. Maybe that was just sort
eventually
of predicting the future. We'll get there.
The McFarlanes are pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen it, if you've ordered one yet, but.
Oh, I haven't. Hold on.
There.
Jesus, it's bigger than I thought. That's what she said.
Big dude, and but it's got the full-on bolter, whereas the one that was the Ultramarine, the pre-painted, just had a bolt pistol and a chainsword, but very, very nice. I don't know if you know Big Bang Games or Big Bang Comics in Dundrum.
I haven't. No, I haven't gone down to that. They're the ones who you got them from, was it?
They're shipping them out, yeah. So,
oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah, really cool.
That's cool.
Because GW are having a few issues with shipping at the minute.
Are they?
Delays in getting some orders out, yeah. But I think I ordered mine about a month ago from GW when they had their big release, whatever date that was, and it's still pending. But
it's Games Workshop.
In 3 days, yeah. It's
Games
Workshop. I know.
It's Games Workshop. I've never, I have to say, like, I've never had problems with stuff coming missing when I've ordered from Games Workshop, and if there's been any issues, like, I can't fault them as much as I can fault them on other things and that they're doing. I can't fault them on if something's broken or something's missing or there's an issue with something. Their customer support in that regard, they always take care of the customer. In my eyes, I know I'm sure there's some people who've slipped through the cracks, but myself personally, I've had no problems. I think I've had once where I had damaged miniatures and I brought them back in and they had a look and they're like, yeah, no bother, there you go, just give me another box. And I was like, there's the broken sprues, and they were just like, no, keep them, it's grand. Wow. Like, oh, okay, fair enough. So I gave them to someone else, There you go, spread the love.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Now we've like customer support wise, I think GW they're pretty good in that regard.
Hmm.
So there, I've no complaints in that department. But if the McFarlanes did a mega armored knob or something, then I'd be interested. But Space Marines, it's just not
And
my cup of
Necrons.
tea. And Necrons,
So,
I'm like,
so
you
Wave
know.
2, they have a Hell Blaster in Blood Angels colors, and then one in gray. And they're doing an Adeptus Sororitas in, I think they're just doing it in gray. But I could be wrong. There may be a painted one of that as well. So that's Wave 2. Maybe Orcs in Wave 3.
Eventually, we'll
Who knows?
eventually get some love. Who knows? Fingers crossed, lads. Maybe if we bang our war drums enough, they might. But we'll see what happens.
You have to bang them louder than the squat fans.
I
Make
thought
them
most of
bang
them
them
died off by now.
loud
Were
and
they not
loud.
consumed by the nids now? Or is that lore being retconned? You never know these days.
I think that they still have their fans out there.
The hardcore. I think I have one or two of the. What are the exosuits? The Cadbury's cream egg shaped power suits that they had.
Wow.
I've one or two of them that I acquired on a trike as well. I think they had their trikes that they could sit on.
Did. Yeah. I found the old Citadel Miniatures catalog from the year 2000. I found it in like an old secondhand bookstore, and it was shrink wrapped and everything. It was perfect.
Oh, nice.
I must check that actually for squats to see if they were
I
still knocking
don't
around then.
think they were, because I was in the hobby. I would have started in about 97, I think. And I
Hmm.
don't remember seeing squats around then. I think they were gone before that. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe they were on the way out at that stage. But definitely by 2000, I would expect them to be
Done.
gone altogether. What you might be able to find is the remnants of the squats in Battlefleet Gothic, which were
Mm.
the Demiurge. So they had the Demiurge ships. They were, or Demiurge. You can never know how to pronounce some of these names, I tell you.
They're made up words to be copyrighted, so you just go for it.
Just, yeah, you can't go. You'll be grand. Like, but yeah, I remember like they had ships in Battlefleet Gothic. They were supposed to be the guys who taught the Tau how to build ships or jump
Oh wow.
ships or stuff like that. Apparently,
Mm.
don't be quote me on this. I'm not great in the old lore when it comes to anything that isn't orcs. But no, Battlefleet Gothic was my jam, man. I really did. I used to love it. I'm surprised they haven't done a re-release on it, to be honest with you. And they did like, what have they
Yeah.
done? Aeronautic Imperialis. They've done
Yep.
like Adeptus Titanicus.
Mhm.
Done a few bits and pieces. I was surprised about the Aeronautica one. I would have
Yeah,
thought.
I actually that was one of another one that I was sort of given to unbox and build um for my painter friend, and I kind of liked it. It was, I mean, the planes I thought were a little bland. I thought the orc ones, I know it's an old orc design. You see them in Forge World and stuff, but I just kind of thought this is kind of cool. It was kind of clever the way that they deal with flight and the sort of the positioning of your wings or whatever when you're in a turn. Or I just thought it was clever. The little bases they were on to sort of show speed and altitude. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was a clever touch. But I was surprised to see it had a full drop in the Warhammer shops, the Games Workshop shops in Belfast and Dublin.
Oh,
Because I was like, straight away, like, why is not Bloodball not there? And you've got Aeronautic Imperialis. I think it's because it's 40K. That's why it gets to survive.
you reckon?
I think so. But it is good. Like, they're fun to build. It harks back to when we used to make like Airfix Spitfires and Lancaster bombers and stuff. It kind of feels like you're building something like that. And the game looks interesting. And Forge World are supporting it as well. I see they're doing like anti-aircraft units, like ground defense units and stuff. They just launched a few of those, so I think it's got legs. I just don't know anyone who plays it. That's the only thing.
Says it's got legs, but doesn't know anyone who plays it. I'm like, I love it. I love it. I know Dread from Dreadwag Game, and he did. He bought a good few of them, I know he got into it. I don't know if he's done many videos on it with his channel, but I do know he got into it and he was putting the Orky ones together because I was taking a piss out of him the last time I visited him. I think he bought like a couple of bombers. I was like, how much is this? He's like, oh, 40 quid. I was like, Jesus. But you know, you can't. Yeah, no, they look nice. They do look nice. I don't know what the gameplay's like. I can't slate it in that regard. I've never played it.
It's inventive anyway, which I like. But I think that the thing I'd love to have a go at building is Adeptus Titanicus. I think some of that stuff looks so cool. Because I'll never have a Warlord Titan, one of the Forge World ones, the ones that are like...
Oh, the ones that are like more
4-year-old child,
expensive.
that height.
Yeah. The ones that are more expensive than like a second-hand car at times.
Yeah, but Adeptus Titanicus, at least you get the sort of...
You get to scratch that Titan itch without breaking the bank. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
I get you. I do get you. Yeah,
The Imperial Knights, though, are pretty cool. I love that they're scaled to regular 40k.
It isn't the same as Epic, though, isn't it? No, it's changed to, I think, 10 mil or something. It's bigger than the previous Epic, isn't it? Because I remember the Titans were way smaller, whereas now, like the Reaver and stuff, aren't they comparable to Knights? They're slightly smaller than Knights or such, from what I understand.
I think so, yeah. I think the scale has changed. Am I right in thinking one of the Epic kits came with a cardboard Orc Titan? Is that right? I can't see the chat, so maybe somebody knows.
I don't know. Was there anyone in the chat who did Epic? And remembers, now I have like a MechBoy Gargant sheet on the back
I think you were
wall.
going to say you had a MechBoy Gargant. I was like, what?
Well, I have the... now, don't ask me where it's buried, but I do have the Mega Gargant in the plastic one. And there's a few Stompers and stuff from the box sets knocking around that someone gave me a while back. So these little tiny squat Stompers they're pretty small. But yeah, I reckon I'm surprised they didn't do Orcs. Like, it's Horus Heresy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's Horus Heresy. I suppose it's easier in regards to releases because you're gonna have the same sort of sculpts on both sides, so it's a lot easier in that regard. But I'm surprised they didn't do Orcs, man. It's like, come on.
Well, just so I'm not completely on this without Orcs to show, you saw my Death Dread, right?
Your Death Dread, yeah.
So I'm very much of the belief that these should never be static. Like, I mean, look at how much this guy is running around. He's just full of joy,
vim and vigor.
Yeah, and I did the same with Killican. You can see that guy as well. He's just absolutely loving life.
He looks like he's about to stamp on someone's toe. All right, I'll give him that much.
Yeah. So I thought those were kind of cool together.
Yeah, definitely.
Death Dread and the little Killican just running through the battlefield hand in hand. But yeah, I find that sometimes the box art and stuff, the instructions, makes them look so static. And there's a ton of fun you can have with those big orc mechs, just getting them to run around a bit.
No, yeah. I do like the versatility of quite a few of the kits that we have. Like, my favorite orc kit is the truck kit. And part of the reason for that is it's pretty much detailed 360 degrees, so you can take it apart and do it whatever way you want. I don't know if you've had the joy of...
Not yet. I know you mentioned it to me, and yeah, I'm going to have to get it.
You will. I'm telling you now, you'll love it. If you enjoyed putting the dreads together, you'll love the potential for it. Like, quite a lot of people make mech gun artillery pieces out of them. But I've seen them like turn into so many things, like different bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You can see them turn into like war buggies. I've seen them turn into trikes. I've seen them turn into the walls of a Gorkham Walker fort, where they pretty much put the flatbed up sideways, and they had two trucks that would drive either way to open and close the gate. It was like
so cool.
There's so much you can do with them. Fuel trucks, half tracks, anything. I think your imagination is the limit when it comes to them. It's The truck's it's a great kit. I'll be sad the day they retire that kit. I really.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the beauty with orcs is that because they're upcyclers and scavengers, there's no way to do one of their kits wrong. If you have like some panel from a rhino that's left over because you went with a variant build on it, you can stick that to an orc thing.
Oh yeah. Like your your mate who plays the Imperial forces, all his little bits and bobs and ons and ends, they're brilliant for orc players. You know what I mean? And it's even
Yeah.
more fun when he gives you a spare door or whatever, and then you paint it in the color of his army, just as a little sort of dig at him. You know what I mean? A bit of banter between you.
Nice.
That's always a bit of fun. And then you could give him a couple of orc skulls because you can get orc skulls in the boys kit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Give him a
I
couple of
actually
them.
got one of those Citadel Skulls kits. They're incredible.
Oh, I've heard that the amount of skulls is
That's just bananas.
impressive.
It really is. Yeah. Because I thought about I know Green Stuff World do like sort of little resin trays, and they do some really cool ones, which are just like bullets, or I think they do like nuts and bolts or something as well. But they do skull ones. But in this particular case, the Citadel kit is just so much better value for money, and it's plastic as well. So you just use your regular polystyrene cement.
It's just crammed full of them. Yeah,
And it
I've
is
seen it. There's
crammed
all
full.
sorts, isn't it? There's like trolls and demons and
Yeah, a lot of, I mean, a
whatnot.
lot of humans. But there are, quite a few Xenos on there as well. There's definitely enough human skulls to have like a good few bases just covered in skulls. So if you wanted to do
Just
some kind of a corn thing, yeah.
base to base, just edge to edge.
Oh yeah, just skulls. Couldn't get more metal than that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Skulls for the old Skulltron. What's the crack,
But
folks?
well worth checking out. Yeah, are you keeping an eye on the chat?
I'm trying to paint and chat and talk to you and keep an eye on the chat. We have the little dragons popped in. I think 6+ Stevo has just dropped in from the warp to torment us.
Oh, cool.
They've been banging on in the comment section. He's saying 40k is really big in Spain. In Madrid, we got 3W stores, one big hobby store, 5 smaller stores in the centre, also a few more for GW stores and hobby stores in the suburbs. Yeah, I do. I can remember there was there not a period of time where there was a Spanish team that came over and just like wiped the Golden Demon competition and won for several years in a row. I think I remember something along that lines. So the Spanish are big into their the Warhammer. We have Spanish channels dedicated to GW and Warhammer. One deal did an episode on the history of the paints, even from the 80s onwards. Yeah, I didn't realize it was so big in Spain. But I'm not surprised. Vallejo was like a Spanish miniature painting line, so it's like it makes
Well, like my Instagram channel, which is Grayprimer Social. Anytime I run a promo on that, it's the demographic is always probably 70-80% Spanish. So the people who react to the content, so there must be a huge community there. But almost every promotion I've done has landed best with the Spanish hobby audience.
I'll have to touch up on the old Spanish then. Get out there.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you there is a massive reach to this stuff.
It's surprisingly so.
Yeah, there was I think it's called Green Faction, which is a shop in Malmo in Sweden, and it was right beside we got the train across from Copenhagen to Sweden, which is cool. Like it's 20 minutes on this rocket ship of a thing that goes underwater and up through an island, and it's an experience. But anyway, get out of the train station, go around the corner to the left, and there's a cool little hobby store there. And they are just mad keen. I went in thinking, oh, I'm going to know all these things, and I was humbled by the level of knowledge in that room. And also, I was blown away by the amount of independent brands they were running, which I thought was, a lot of Malifaux. They had Privateer Press and stuff in there as well. And I think that's really cool to see.
Sweden, was it?
Yeah, that was in a town called Malmo, or a city called Malmo. And I think they're called Green Faction. Nice group of people.
Yeah, because I've heard more recently that they're pretty organized on the gamer front in Sweden in general. They've
Mm,
apparently they've got some like good games associations or so. I've heard. I could be totally
yeah.
wrong, but from what I hear, they're big into their gaming. But yeah, more third party stuff, Nick. Definitely,
Oh yeah.
I'm starting to. I even find it weird that we use the term third party for them. It's almost like the mentality is Games Workshop is like tabletop wargaming, and everything else is just sort of
Yeah.
yeah.
I do try to call them independents, but I don't think that's any better.
Well,
Because I mean, like I brought a couple of toys over, and these are probably quite relevant right now because GW released their giants,
mm-hmm.
and this is Mantix giant, and he is glorious at a fraction of the price of the GW one. And as you can see, I've converted him so he's actually holding a human body there in his hand as a club or a snatch or something. But also here beside him, you've got the Lord on Chimera kit from Mantic, and the quality of the sculpting in this is just sensational. And again, won't break the bank. I've just
Nice.
as a sort of a, what else can we call them? As an independent, um, they do some really cool stuff.
We'll have to coin a phrase, or we'll have to ask the comment section if there's a phrase that can be coined that
Yeah.
isn't third party or independence.
Other.
The others. Yeah.
And here's one last one. I swear this is it. But this is probably the coolest tank I've ever built. And this is the I think it's called the Fimrir from Shield Wolf in Greece. So hang on, let me get that on the screen.
It's
there you
totally pretending not to be a predator, like totally.
go. Right, but you see like the wolf pelts on it. It's got the Viking shields all over it. It's got those great the guns on the side. It is absolutely a glorious bit of kit. Solid resin.
It's resin, is it? Oh, nice.
Yeah. So there was some buckling of the resin, so you had to do a bit of work on that to get it good. But
to straighten out the component parts again. So what method do you go for? Are you a warm water man, or you heard the hairdryer is the way to go?
I've never got either of them work for me, and maybe the hot water's not going hot enough. But yeah, I tend to just carve at it until I'm like, I think that's about level, and I'll fill the rest in with green stuff or something. I'm not good at resin.
Trails of polyfiller or whatever. Just show it in there. It'll be grand, lads. It'll smooth it out. It'll be grand. We'll get the level out.
One of those silicon sort of things, in the gun, just sort of squeeze a bunch of silicon into it.
Your silicon gun, just fucking.
Yeah.
There you go. That'll do. Yeah, there you go. With the tube of no more nails, you can feel and glue together at the same time. You won't know yourself. Killing several birds with the one stone. It's like, there we
the
are
Vallejo stuff's good. I don't know if you've tried that. Joking aside, the Vallejo stuff is really good.
Which the what's it called? Oh Jesus, I've a tub of it around here on this mess of a desk somewhere.
Yeah.
God help me if I can
the
find
metal tubes, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Oh, I do. I have one here. Hold on now, lads. We'll send out a search party. You would not believe the absolute bleeding state of this desk. There's bits of everything everywhere. I have a bigger tub of it anyway. Right, so that tube of stuff that you're on about is used generally by guys who do like scale modeling and aircraft. They like to fill in the seams.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get all these savage boxes full of mechs out of the way. Get out of the way!
Look at you showing off with all your mechs.
On flex, yeah, my weird flex. It's like, oh, you have no space. Well done. Right, anyway, so this ground texture stuff, this is white stone, so it's ground texture acrylic. I figure, because I bought this specifically for the Bloodball orcs, because I wanted to do the ground in a mud texture, but I wanted it to be, I wanted to get a generic color that I could color it anyway, instead of having, like, I know you can buy the one off of Games Workshop, but like this is 200 milliliters. It's a little bit more expensive, but for the volume, it's cheaper.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
I went with this one, and it's plain, so there's no texture to it, but you can add sand in, you can do whatever you want. But I
Hmm.
digress. I reckon this is the same stuff as the stuff that comes in the metal tubes because I've
Yeah,
worked with
probably.
both of them. I reckon it is the same sort of material, but I get my stuff from Hobby Mad, which is an Irish store. They're not sponsoring me. I just buy me stuff from there, and then that's where I got a. I also have like an art texture acrylic. You can get it with a very fine texture in it. That's why I went
Hmm.
for some of these for BattleTech because of the scale of the grain with the mix. Visually, it looks
Hmm.
good, as opposed to if I
Yeah.
used like sand. That's the direction I went with these. So that's why I bought into them. But yeah, I reckon that ground texture stuff is it's the
Nice.
same
Yeah, it's
as
probably the same stuff.
what you were
Yeah, I
on about.
order from Hobby Mat as well.
Yeah, no problems with them. They seem to be. Jesus. No, I'm not gonna go looking for that tube of stuff. Don't worry. No, they're grand. I've had no trouble with them at all. I bought like a couple of the Vallejo books. They stock a good few bits and pieces. That's where I got my Panzer Aces cases from.
Mhm.
I bought off of them. I know they'll do free shipping if it's over a certain price in Ireland. But yeah, no bother with them. Rob down in Hobby Mad. I swear I'm not sponsored. I swear.
This message is brought to you by our sponsors.
uh,
Um,
I wish, mate. I
yeah,
wish.
I think the reason I went looking for Hobby Mat because I'd been using Mighty Lancer for most of my stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but you can't order things like glues and sprays because it's
Restricted in
coming
that.
across from the
Yeah,
UK.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they wouldn't be able to bring that across in the planes. And I was just like, well, where else is there? When I found Hobby Mat, I was like, oh my lord, because they get so much stuff.
Yeah, and their range keeps expanding. It's nice when you find a retailer and they're happy to stock stuff if you request it. You know what I mean? Like they're updated online. They're an online retailer, so they keep their stock updated online. But it's like it's nearly hard enough trying to grab some stuff because it flies out the door so quick from them. You know what I mean? They seem to be popular enough at this stage. But it's they're good. They're good in that regard. You can shoot them an email and go, hey, when you're ordering stuff, order this for me and give me a shout, and
Yeah.
you'll get it. Like,
Yeah, they were very good. There was I think when Army Painter first brought out their wet palette. No, sorry, it was AK Interactive brought out a wet palette, and I thought it just looked so cool, but it was never in stock, and I think they came in for about 5 minutes into stock, and I missed out on it. But the last thing I need is another wet palette. The last thing I need is any other painting paraphernalia. I'm good.
just
I
get the
just need to
paint
start
onto the
using it,
minis. Yeah.
right?
Just worry less about what in between the pot and the miniature, and worry more about getting more in the miniature. No, I like the
Yeah.
wet palette I use is literally one that I just made myself out of like baking paper or parchment paper and
Yeah.
a cheapo sandwich box
Hmm.
and a bit of kitchen paper, and away you go. But I bought the Mrs. The Army Painter one, and she's finding it good. She's finding it good. Like
Yeah.
she's liking it. So I'm like, oh, there you go. See, happy days.
Yeah. The my travel sort of hobby kit back when I used to travel to cons and things. Um, it's a bento box, so one of those sort of double layer like bamboo effect lunch boxes, and the bottom part of that is I've converted that into a wet palette, and the top I use for like all my tools storage. I did a video about it called Hobby Travel Kit actually, um, and it works out really well. Like it's got the silicon seal, so it's not going to
Go all over the
um,
shop on you.
go all over the shop or evaporate off.
Mm.
But I find them good. I backed the Redgrass Games Kickstarter, and it one of the pledge manager things in that was its wet palette, and it is beautiful. So I added it to my stack of wet palettes.
To your ever growing collection.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find your travel case. How long ago did you do it? Your travel case video?
Like the third or the fourth video. No, wait. Let me see. There it is. Just it says what's inside the Grayprimer Hobby Travel Kit. Second row up, right in the middle there. Oh no, you're way past.
What's inside?
The second from bottom. Your
Oh,
cursor was.
there
Yeah.
we go.
Welcome to
And then we'll share that in the old chat there. I'm sure you
Get all those
enjoyed the
Bloodball
audio. All
team
those Blood
boxes.
Bowl team unboxings as well. So there's the what's inside the Grayprimer travel case. That's his video there. There you go. How's that for a plug? Happy days.
Nice. It's like when I was starting off the channel, I had no editing at all, and it was just like 40 minutes per video. But in the show notes, you'll see sort of the timestamps. I did add those in, so you can skip forward to maybe you want to find out what cutters I use or glues and things like that. You can skip to the relevant part.
Get to the juicy bits.
Get to the juicy bits.
Shit. So
Actually,
how did you?
still using the same cutters, these Zuron Boyos, and they are fantastic.
Are they meant for like Gundam kits or something? Or because I know there's like different cutters. Because I bought a couple of Gundams and I still haven't gotten around to them, but they're they're very big into their cutters over in the Gumplas, is it? I forget the term. They're very big into their L. It's like they'll want a pair of snips that don't leave any stress marks on the plastic. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense because in general they don't paint them. So if there's a stress mark left if there's a stress mark left on the plastic, you're gonna see it. So I was like, oh, all right. So yeah, that makes sense.
Zuron spelt with an X is they've got a whole range. There's a lot of them I think that are dedicated to the hobby trains hobby. So there'd be ones there that would be for clipping like the tracks and stuff, and they would have dedicated rules for each of their clippers, like this is what this is supposed to be for. I think if you find one that kind of is got like a skinny head to it, but is still thick enough that it's not going to snap if you hit it on like those Necromanda.
I was about to say, didn't you lose one?
It was so close. It was so close. I heard this strange noise from inside the clippers, and I was like, "Oh, that sounded like a stress sort of noise," because they're chunky, those connectors. But yeah, the Zuron range is really good. I think they're an American brand. I got these up in there's a wee hobby store up in Coleraine. I don't know what it's called, but it looked like one of those ancient hobby stores. Like Mark's Models in Dublin.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, it looked like that. And the guy who worked there knew where everything was.
Where it's really literally like wall to wall, floor to ceiling with stuff like
completely. Yeah. And that's not everything they have on sale. That they've got tons of stuff upstairs or something or behind the counter. Love those shops.
They're great, man. They are great. They're a dying breed, but they are absolutely gems there. They really are.
I think those are the ones that worry me at times like this.
The
likes of Mighty Lancer Games or Hobby Mad, they're run by a younger team. Maybe they're run by a team who's got a little bit more experience in e-commerce, and there'd be stores that maybe they wouldn't even have a website at all.
I know. I think Mark's Models and the like, it's like, do you ever come across, you'll have a store like that and they'll have a website that was clearly built in like the 90s or something. And it's like, oh yeah.
Their logo is like clip art.
Yeah. You
it's
know exactly.
Train, and then it says something over the top of it. I'm not saying that that's what Mark's Models logo is like. I have no idea what.
But they're brilliant. I love it. It's like it's like a trip down a time machine or something. You know what I mean? It's It's all part of the experience. That genuine, authentic feel to it.
Oh, completely. Like I like the team in Mark's Models. Actually, they introduced me to a couple of things that I was using the Tamiya extra thin cement, and it's really strong smell.
Like yeah. Oh yeah, I bought some of that stuff. Yeah, oh, Jesus man, that'll knock the bleeding socks off you and then some.
Yeah, and if you have pets or kids around you or something in your hobby area, it's probably not good for them to be inhaling that. It's not good for you to be inhaling that.
But well, when it says vapor harmful on the label, you know.
Poison down one side of it on the normal stuff.
Yeah, I have that as well. They don't joke about when they're giving you a warning. It's like no fire and poison.
Yeah. So I went to Mark's Models and I was like, "Is there a solution for this?" Because I know they do like low odor super glues. And I was like, "Is there a solution for plastic cement?" And he was like, "Well, you could use one of the ones with the metal nozzle, like Humbrol do one." And it transformed how I hobby in the house. Like, there's really little smell off of those. But yeah, great staff in that place. Absolutely, they know their stuff. Be a bit intimidating, maybe going in the first time, because they are so knowledgeable and there's so much stock. But ask them a question and you'll be.
You know, I've been into Mark's models. I think I ventured in for clump foliage a while back for smoke effects that I never got around to doing, but I've definitely ventured in there uh, for the odd bits and bobs. It's always good, man. It's always good.
We're giving so many businesses a shout out here.
But you
This is
should, you
great.
know what I mean? Yeah, you should do. They're all businesses that we go to and value, so why not? You know what I mean?
Yep.
If they're there and they're giving good service to the community, there's no harm in giving them a shout out. So
Yeah.
why not?
It's interesting because you said that Hobby Mat are always open to new brands and stuff, like taking recommendations.
Hmm.
There was a shop that opened again during the pandemic in Moira up in Northern Ireland.
I was about to, I
Had
don't even know
practically
where
free,
Moira is. Whereabouts in Northern Ireland?
kind of between Lisburn and Newry,
Oh, I know where Newry is. All right, I
like
get you.
as far as I remember. Yeah, it's around there, but it's actually quite easy to get to, just off the motorway and round the corner, and there's the little shop in an industrial estate. But really nice chap who runs it. He's got some gaming boards in there as well, so there's options for play. But he's ever expanding the brand selection, and he'll have the obvious ones like Warhammer and stuff. But yeah, I like that. I like that about sort of independent retailers who are just like, yeah, tell us what'll sell, tell us what you want us to get in.
And we'll
Because I
get
know
it
you guys are
in.
talking about BattleTech and some of the shops in Dublin.
Oh, mate, it doesn't sit on the shelf long
Yeah,
enough. That's what the problem is. So
yeah.
people are like, "Oh, there's no BattleTech." It's like, yeah, mate, because it goes out the bleeding door. Like,
Some randomer bought it all.
yeah, exactly. It's like, ah, that's good though. You know, I nearly have to sort of sit in my hand so I don't buy it so that somebody else will. You know, let it sit there so somebody can see it. Yeah. No, I can. The temptation has gotten to me the odd time. All right. It's like, oh, look at all the books. Yeah, I've got a
Yeah,
bit mad with
it
the old
must be right
BattleTech.
up there with D&D, right? For the amount of books available.
Oh, available. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. I think a lot of them are very niche. So they do like one print run of stuff with BattleTech, and if it's popular
Hmm.
enough, they'll do another print run. So I sort of had to mentally adjust to that. You know what I mean? I'm not really used to that in that regard. I suppose you're spoiled for choice with Games Workshop in that when they produce a book, generally, you know, it's not much hassle being able to get your hands on it, especially these
Okay.
days. I find. Um, but no, if you know you want the book in advance, just sort of say it to the retailer and get one ordered in, the type of thing. But the basic stuff you'll be able to get. No bother, you know, the core rules and stuff like that. They've done several print runs of them. But I think it's a case of BattleTech seems to have waned in like the 2000s. I think the license was bought by WizKids or something or that kind, and
Okay.
then it's on a resurgence now with Catalyst. They've had it for a while, but I think they're using the surge with the Kickstarter to sort of really kickstart it again, really give it a good kick up the arse and get it moving.
Hmm.
It seems to be heading in a positive direction in that regard, and I'm happy enough. You know what I mean? I'm quite happy with
And
the
Catalyst are the ones who ran the Kickstarter, yeah.
yeah Catalyst ran the Kickstarter. And I've a couple of the boxes there that I haven't even really opened. But you know what? We'll crack a box open now. Sure, why not? And have a look at some miniatures. And I'll try not knock half the stack over. So, what have we got? We've got... And have a look at the legendary box. Ooh. Ah, there
So is
goes
there
the...
more to come with that? Yeah.
Oh, me. I sat down and I calculated, right? So this is what this... I don't know if you can see, but I have a little list on the back of the wall here. And I was like, oh, alright. So with me pledges, I think I got like 12 in each. I think I got 24 lance packs. And so
Okay.
far, I've received 7 of them. in the previous boxing, so wave 2 is, you know, it's gonna be a big boy as well. So we'll have a look at our legendary mech warrior pack, so you can have a look at the miniatures.
Oh, cool.
I'll just crack it open there. Sure, why not? The boxes are really nice though. I do like the boxes. I even said it when I was doing the unboxing video. I look forward to seeing these on shelves. They look nice. They're not too big. I'd expect them to be somewhere between maybe the 25 to 30 quid mark. And even if you were to buy a box, so a Lance pack like this, that's all you need to sort of play. You'll buy your 4mechs and that's what, you know, that's it. And away you go. Like, I'm not too sure how Malifaux did theirs, but from what I gather, it was the same sort of thing. Or even Bloodball, where it's like you buy your team. So, we have an archer that's missing an arm. That's interesting. We have a dicey.
Hey, there's no construction with those, but
no, there's no construction with them. There's an arm that's got a mission. Ah, well, there you go. Wasn't expecting that. And you saw me unbox it live, so I'll have to crack onto them about that one. That just wasn't glued in at all. Interesting. So with these, normally there's an arm there. It's like, oh, I'll show off their product. There's an arm missing.
Live television. Eh?
Live TV, folks. Here we go. You just roll with the punches. So normally there's an arm there, but clearly there's no glue. So there's sub-assemblies. You can tell. So now that there's no arm there, I can show you as in a prime example. They're in pieces, so they're glued before you get them. Do you know what I mean? They're glued as they're assembled. I don't know what type of glue they use. It's not super glue, but you can, like, people have like cut at the joints and taken these apart again, but you don't really need to sort of assemble these guys. But as you can see, they're just sort of plug points for the different miniatures. So if I wanted to try and take that arm out, you know, you could leave it sitting in warm water for a good while and you can get at it, and, you know, with varying success, people have taken it apart. There's a bit of flex to the plastics. A little bit, but it's pretty solid. Like that Reaper Bone stuff that you have, Nick, that's way more flexible. Like the difference between
it's bendy.
No, that stuff is like super bendy. But that's good in some regards, in that when you drop it, you know, more likely than not, you'll catch it on the bounce type of thing. You know what I mean? Whereas with the Battletech stuff that they've got, these plastics, there's a bit of flex, but there's not a lot. There's enough that it'll stay on one bit. That's a chunky boy. Look at the size of that one. Jesus.
So are they plastics? Like, are they polystyrene?
It's a plastic.
I'm just wondering, because like when I make a mistake with a plastic kit and like I need to take an arm off or something, I just generally use Tamiya extra thin into the ball joint or the connector. And with a little bit of a wiggle, it comes away because it's melting away the plastic. But I'm just wondering if that would be the.
I don't know. I haven't experimented with them yet. I don't know if I don't think they're polystyrene. Having messed around with miniatures, these don't feel like polystyrene. They feel like a different type of plastic. So my gut is telling me if I was to glue these together, I'd use super glue. I wouldn't use plastic cement.
Yeah.
No, they don't feel like just by holding them and the texture of them. Yeah, I don't think so. I'd have to sort of snap one to get a good view, but I'm sort of loath to do so. But
they're awesome looking though, aren't they?
They're cool, man. Look at it. It's pretty sweet.
Shame there's no building involved.
That doesn't bother me, man. It really doesn't bother me. I know going from like converting orcs to then going to playing Battletech, but I suppose that's half of the beauty you want. You know, when you buy a box and it actually does come with all the components, it's playable straight away. Like, you know, even still, that's missing an arm. You know, whatever. We'll sort something. Do you know what I could do? Making the best of a bad situation, I could just make an arm myself that's being ruined, you know, like battle damage.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I could give that a bash. I'll do some battle damage on an arm, and there you go. We'll salvage that, make the best of a bad one. But that's the miniatures.
One box you pick.
Yeah, just honestly, just a random box, and it's like, oh, it's missing an arm. It's like, well, what can you do?
Someone at Cap sitting with their head in their hands right now.
Sure, worse things have happened. Nah, they seem to be pretty good on the feedback. So you get your pile of cards. So these are cards that will tell you a bit of fluff and then abilities. Now, you don't have to use these in game, but they're an option that are given to you if you want to use them in game. So it tells you the skill of the pilot, his gunnery, and his piloting. So how good he is at shooting, and then so they give you like pilot abilities and the cost of it and stuff. They're not generally included in the base game. Like you'll say beforehand if you're going to use pilot cards because they affect the abilities of the mechs. You know what I mean? Like, so everything has a set battle value. So now using piloting cards will obviously affect the performance of a mech as such. You know what I mean?
And you declare that at the start of the game, yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll say it to your mate. You'll be like, "Oh, do you want to use pilot cards?" "Oh yeah, we'll give it a bash." You know what I mean? So the lower the skill level, the better. So like this Morgan Kell guy who's 0-0, that's like the best you can get, I think, to the best of my knowledge. As you're cracking on with them, yeah, some cracking abilities. So you have a few cards. You'll get your cards in your box. Natasha Kerensky, it'll give you the name of them. Aiden Pride, you know, their skill levels, their abilities, and then they give you cards to play the mechs in their other version of the game. So there's two versions of BattleTech that you can play. The classic one that I sort of play, which is the Total Warfare one, which is very sort of in-depth in detail. You're tracking individual damage, you're tracking ammunition use, and then there is the other version of the game, Alpha Strike, where it's more streamlined and it's designed for bigger conflicts. So like the standard game, if you're using 4 mechs, I'd expect the game to last like 3 to 4 hours. You know what I mean? Wow. Yeah, but it's great. You know what I mean? You put it aside, you go for it.
Yeah, I saw them playing at GaleCon last year, and they had these huge sheets of like all of the armor points and everything, and all these little squares.
Yeah, it's like an A4 sheet. You'll get an A4 sheet, and it'll be. Do I even have the booklets?
Amazing.
There's booklets for it. They're over there. But yeah, you'll get like an A4 sheet, and you'll keep track of your damage and stuff. So yeah, that's what you get in a box set. Oh, we'll have to send that video off to them just for the feedback, being like, lads, what's the story? your factory in China sort of let the team down on that one, but you know, we'll do some battle damage on the arm. But yeah, I've seen people do some really interesting things with the mechs. They've done some really good paint jobs, even with contrast paints, because the scale of the miniatures is different. They work really well with the contrast paints. So there's a channel, I'll give them a plug, Camo Specs online. They do a lot of BattleTech painting. There's some really nice tutorials there for battle mechs, and they do cracking work. Really nice stuff. That's and cool. They show you how to repose them as well.
Oh, nice.
So like this missile pod on one of them is a bit wonky, but you know, they'll show you how to get warm water. It's kind of like you were talking about with resin. You know what I mean? If you wanted to have it sort of squared, you can get, you know, you just dip them in warm water for a while and then move it and then put it in cold water and then it'll keep its form, sort of. That type of, like I said, there's a bit of giving them. But the detail on them it's pretty good, man. I like the detail.
Yeah, I was blown away by some of the cover art as well.
Oh, it's cracking stuff. It's really cracking stuff.
And yeah, I didn't actually know that there was the quality was going to be like that. Because I've got like a BattleTech starter box in the house. The tiny box with like 2 mechs in it.
Oh, the beginner box set, is it?
That's it, yeah. And I wasn't that impressed by the art, but then I saw the art coming from the Kickstarter, and I was like, wow! Like there's mechs climbing up the legs of other mechs, and there's
guys in elemental armor tearing limbs off and all this type of it's
cool.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. You know what I mean? It's definitely good stuff. It's a bit of crack.
It would be weird for me getting that amount of miniatures through the door and no building to be done on them.
I'm not bothered. I think it's because I have so many orcs even still that are unbuilt. I'm quite happy in that regard. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about building stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about converting. I mean, the option's there if you want to. But you sort of you just get to play out of the box. I think that's sort of the issue I had with some of the stuff. Like if you get Bloodball and maybe you want to play it as soon as you buy it, you're still gonna have to sit down and then take stuff off a sprue. So you're gonna need to bring your clippers and stuff. You know, where it's nice to have a game where you buy the box, you open it, you can start playing straight away. I
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, Blood Bowl, it's pretty quick getting in there. And I know Games Workshop are experimenting with a lot of sort of like
Have they?
twist off options. Yeah,
Yeah, they've
for
come
easy to
leaps and
build.
bounds with their push fits. They have come a long way. It's a lot better than some of the stuff. I think like the worst I saw was that Assassinorum game where it was literally just miniatures put into a box, like they weren't push fit at all. So it was like Jesus, you know. But
Hmm.
they have come on leaps and bounds. I would give them that much. Do you know what one I was really impressed with, Nick? Space Hulk. Space Hulk was the first sort of plastic kit set push fit together that I was really impressed with. And to this
Hmm.
day, I'm still disappointed that they don't like even bring it out every couple of years. You
Yeah,
know?
like I really thought they would have brought out Space Crusade, and maybe they will with the relaunch of Hero Quest on Hasbro's Pulse. And I
Maybe.
know that Hero Quest has popped up in a couple of, I think Zavi in the UK are selling that version of Hero Quest, but maybe with the popularity of that, they'll do something with Space Crusade. And I thought it was a really cool Space Hulk light. Um, and then hopefully that'll carry into like, hey, if people want to play Space Hulk light, maybe they want to play a new version of Space Hulk. Because I have the Marines like Mark, who we both know got a copy of Space Hulk. We went halvesies on it. He took the Gene Stealers and I took the Blood Angels.
Nice.
So they're
Xenos, man after
beautiful.
my own heart, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a good game, like that's what I liked about Space Hulk. It's a well-rounded box set because they're nice miniatures. The tiles that are in it are like double embossed and glossy, chunky
Hmm.
tiles that'll last.
Yeah.
Really well done. The game mechanics as well. It's like it's a really good tactical game. They're very
Hmm.
one-sided scenarios, but they're quick enough where you can flip them around. So it's like, all right, you be the Terminators, I'll be the Gene Stealers. You play a game with your mate, and then you flip it around and switch it and go from
Yeah.
there. I was waiting for Steve out to chime in with his I loved is in capitals Space Crusade. I know Steve O was a was fond of Space Crusade and still is to this day. A good part
Hmm.
of his childhood. He does hark on about the Dreadnought expansion. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And great minis with it as well. I mean, the Dreadnought that came with it looked like Ed 209.
Oh, it did. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think you got four different Marines from four different chapters, and they had their little play or sort of like plastic, trackers where you slide them down, the damage you've taken or points you've scored or something like that. But I think it was a really great introduction into Games Workshop and into that side of the hobby. The weapons you could just pull out the front. It was very early, sort of push fit, easy to
Oh
build.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The guys who
Yeah,
had like the hands and the yeah, I get you. It would put to be like a peg in the chest. Yeah,
that's exactly it. Yeah, and you
I've
could
seen
you
those
could swap
boils.
out different weapons and stuff. Yeah, that was a cool set. A total rip off of Aliens, like, but a cool set. um, and we're
Did-
still waiting for a good Aliens game. I think I know that is it Gale Force 9 have um the Aliens game coming out. I think it's later this month or into next month.
I did.
And
I
it's a
have an aliens
full
game.
full miniatures board game. Yeah,
Oh, was
uh,
it?
it plays solo as well because the aliens are controlled by the game system. Um,
It's
and I
like a
think you
random
just like
deck or something, is it?
that's right. You just roll for how many turn up in a given square or something like that. Maybe like spawn points or something. But the sort of the approach they've taken is like you are most likely not going to survive. So they give the Marines pretty much their choice of weapons because they're like, it doesn't really matter what weapons we give you. In all likelihood, you'll not make it out the other side of this game board. So some really,
It's how long you last, not if you
yeah,
survive. Yeah, yeah.
how many of you last, I think, is going to be the big thing. But a couple of really nice mechanics in it as well. You have the option of just bugging out if you get through a level. So you could do that, or you could attempt to go back and recover your dudes who have been taken by the aliens during that last scenario. And there's like a separate board that you sort of
Oh,
pull out, and yeah,
Nick, you're selling this to me, bud.
and like how cool is that? And the miniatures are glorious too.
You're piquing me interest here. I do like Steve-O is probably chomping at the bit as well. He's a big Aliens fan. I love the Aliens films myself. It's
Yeah.
like, game over, man. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that they've really, it looks like they've designed it from sort of a place of love for the original material.
It's always a
And
good sign.
yeah, because I had the old game, which had the little card standees, and it was lethally difficult as well. And they would just, you would get like 6 of them pop up right beside you just as you're about to exit the level, and you're toast. There's no way you're getting through 6 of them. And I think they've done a really good job here of converting it into like a miniatures game.
So
I think they were getting,
was it a board game that previously existed, or
yeah, I don't know if it was anything to do with Gale Force 9 back in the day, but it was definitely licensed material. They had like the Aliens game, and then they had the Aliens expansion, which include different sort of scenarios from the movie to play out. But it was just card standees. It was on these very cool sort of game mats, or fold out mats, and I loved it. But it was like, I'm not kidding, it was brutally difficult to try and get through that unscathed. And I think that where they really nailed it down was in the rules book. They had like loads of quotes from the movies and stuff in the column, off in the margins, and they just really knocked it out of the park.
for the
But it was
attention
always,
of Wayland Yutani employees
yeah,
type stuff?
yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that where it was limited really was just in the playing pieces, because they were pretty thin cardboard. Um, they were like old style stamps, so they had these sort of perforated edges on them, and they just did not last. Like if there were any kids around or anything, younger players, it was not going to survive. But the new one is full on proper miniatures, probably close to, if not the same scale as Warhammer. Expansion packs include, I think one of them is like a bunch of Marines, and then another one is Get Away from Her, You, and it's just B and then star H, and you get the power loader in that. You get the Alien
Nice.
Queen. You get a complete bishop and then a bishop and a half. Yeah, I think the whole thing, probably the whole core kit plus the 2 expansions, come in around £120, £130, something like that.
Yeah, depending on how the miniatures look, that sounds reasonable. Because I know there was a game of it recently done by Protoss Miniatures, because a friend of mine was into it, and he has the miniatures for it. But I know they lost the license, I think, when it was back, when it was Fox. But then Fox got bought out by Disney, so it's like, it's interesting. It's interesting to see what happens with these sort of licenses in the gaming industry, who has them, what they do with them, and how long it sort of lasts, type of thing. But it sounds like fun. It'll be something I'll throw my eye on, definitely.
Yeah, and I hope that, I mean, it should be successful. Gale Force 9 is a...
Oh, there, but yeah, because I know Gale Force 9 just through their terrain. Like I haven't gone through other stuff, but I do know they're pretty successful. They're knocking around all right. They've been around a while.
Yeah. I hope they bring in dropships and APCs and...
Oh, the APC, man. Yeah. That
cool.
APC. I love watching the like behind the scenes, how it was sort of made for the film, the documentaries and stuff like that. They're really good. I was watching one about Aliens, the second film, not too long ago, and just how they did the different scenes, what materials they used, and even like the APC being I think we call them tugs. They're for pulling aircraft. That's what they built it of. Yeah. And they converted it up, and they tore a load of lead out of it, because that's what they need. They're not really fast moving, but they've got a lot of torque and a lot of weight. Obviously, if they're lumping aircraft around an airport. So I thought, that sounded like fun. Like, I was like, that's cool, man. And then the guy who was playing Bishop,
Lance Henriksen,
having to put like I think what did they give him, like yogurt mixed with something else, and
Oh,
it
is this for his blood?
yeah. The scene where he gets sort of like impaled, and even when like how he gets impaled, they were talking about how they did it, where it was a specific type of foam that was on like a thread, so that it was
Wow.
threaded through his chest out, so you couldn't see it, but it was compacted down on his chest, so that when they pulled the string, it got pulled through, and then it formed. Do you know what I mean? It was folded down, and then it stuck to its shape in its form. So it's like it's amazing how they did quite a lot of it.
That's cool. I love all those sort of practical effects and how they do them. I think they're really fascinating.
And even
Like when
like
you watch old sort of zombie movies, like ones that Tom Savini or Howard Berger, any of those people have worked on, you just it's incredible. They're so smart, and they're also so sketchy as well. Their use of electronics and the stuff that could go on fire and
oh
only by
yeah,
luck doesn't.
yeah. It's like oh we decided at the last moment to not put a cameraman in when the APC is doing the long shot. And lo and behold, the brakes failed and smashed the camera. But it's like Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, it was definitely my most watched film growing up. Aliens, and like the release of the special edition with all those extra, minutes of footage was like seriously, that was like, man on the moon for me when I was that age. That was such a landmark moment in my childhood, finding out they were going to release a new version of Aliens with more stuff. Like seriously.
Definitely go crack.
And then
Yeah.
I got the Blu-ray edition recently with like, I don't know, 6 movies on it or something. I've kind of lost count with the prequels and stuff, but I played that version of Aliens from the Blu-ray set, and it's different. There's even more content on that.
Nice.
And yeah, stuff I'd never seen before.
Because there's different scenes that have even been cut from the films, and I find that interesting, like how
Mm-hmm.
contextually it can change the narrative somewhat. Like what's his name? The Wayland Yutani employee who shafts them.
Burke?
Bork, yeah. There's a scene where Ripley comes across Bork when she's looking for Newt. It's a cutout scene,
Mm-hmm.
and he's asking for her to put him out of his misery where he's being captured, and she just sort of hands him a grenade or something, or that sort of thing, and tells him
Wow.
to take care of it himself. It's like Jesus, yeah, you should have left that in,
Wow.
man. You know.
So I listened to the Audible, the audiobook of it there a few months ago, and the thing that really I actually went back a chapter just so I heard it again, heard the run up to it again, was that the tails in the original script had stingers, and you would actually get stung by the tail of the alien and you would be paralyzed, and then it would be able to just sort of throw you over its shoulder and take you back to put you into the wall and put an egg in you.
Yeah.
Um,
Or turn you
and
into an egg. That was
I
even
was blown away by that knowledge that they had stingers. I thought that's a game changer in the movie.
like if you look back at like the Rogue Trader era stuff, and you look at the Gene Stealers, the your
Yeah.
Marl Gene Stealers or whatever, but they had like what were they, pseudopod sort of injectors, so there was like even rules back then for
Oh yeah,
it
they
would
did.
it would
Yeah.
change your genetics.
Mm-hmm.
You'd roll to see if like the trooper survived, and then it would change your genetics, and then any offspring that they have sort of it would start a whole gene stealer cultist type thing. Like even back in the day, there was that sort of level of it, and it's interesting when you look at like if you look at the Alien film and even the original one, there's scenes that are being cut out where
Mm-hmm.
Ripley comes across a couple of them, but they're being turned into eggs. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's interesting how like the lore of it and the life cycle and different how concepts have changed, or even some things can be folded in.
Mm. So William Gibson he wrote a sequel to Aliens. It was one of the ones that was sort of optioned at the beginning before they settled on Alien 3, that the one that's set in that prison colony on a planet.
Mm-hmm.
So the original sequel to Aliens was written by this guy William Gibson, very famous author, and it is really about them coming back to Earth and the experience they had. So you get like Hicks and Newt and Ripley in it, and it's incredible. They've done a full cast reading of it for Audible. I think it's only like an hour and a half or 2 hours long, so like feature length movie, but it's the audiobook. And the likes of Michael Bean is on it doing as Hicks. Lance Henrik's on doing Bishop. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in it, but it's well worth checking out as the alternative sequel to Aliens that never got filmed.
That sounds fun, man. I'd be surprised if somebody doesn't do an animation to that Audible then.
Yeah, me too.
That'd
Did
be
you
really
catch
cool.
Hell's Reach?
I did indeed.
Oh my god.
It was good crack, man.
Just seeing that
crack.
orc titan.
Oh, the big gargant at the end.
Oh my word. Don't want to give any spoilers away, but well worth watching Hell's Reach. I think it's like 13 episodes, isn't it?
I think so, and then I think he did a compiled, he did a compilation of it all just in one run.
Yeah, I think he's done like 1 to 12 in one run, and then 13 is
separate. But it's
separate,
good.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Even for someone like me who pretty much hates anything Imperial, you know, still good. It's good. It's decent. It's decent. Entertainment.
And he's working on Angels of Death, I think.
Oh, I've heard. Yeah, he ended up teaming up with GW, and he's doing something with them on a sort of official means, or I'm not too sure, but yeah, there's something coming along. And then there's the one that a lot of people are raving on about as well, the Astartes.
Oh yeah, that's I think maybe what 5 or 6 episodes of that.
It's not very long, but it's intense. Yeah, I thought the animations for that were good, and even like the sound and the editing and the cuts, they were very. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good as well. More fan-made stuff, some really cracking stuff coming out from the fans.
Yeah, I think the last episode was maybe last year. Yeah, I think it's maybe a year now. But when it screened, like all the other episodes had been so short. And it had been like, the Marines getting into a dropship, and it was all like action shots and amazing angles and all of this stuff. And then it would be like the end of the episode. But then the last episode was huge.
In comparison, yeah.
Oh, and so much happened in it. Like, if you haven't seen it, go check out that series. It's just called Astartes, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's well worth a watch. Especially if you're a Space Marine fanboy.
You don't watch it if you're a guard.
Well, they're traitor guards, so they don't count.
That's true.
Steve was saying the Wooden Planet script was mental. I think he's referencing Aliens.
Right, okay. Cool.
I don't know about the Wooden Planet script, but I shall have a gander, Steve-O.
Yeah, me too. I'll check that out. But yeah, Steve, if you like Aliens, check out that William Gibson sequel. It's pretty special.
Sounds like fun. Right, folks, I've nearly forgotten. If you're still here and you're still painting along with us, fair play to you for lasting this long. We are going to be going over and having a gander over at the Discord work in progress. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes notice in that regard, and then show your work in progress in there. We'll go have a quick look, and then we'll wrap it up. Have you managed to get much done yourself, Nick, over the episode?
Of talking and very little Delac cleaning. I think I'm up to about miniature 8 of 10 here, getting cleaned. They have a lot of tiny component parts, so there's a lot of stuff to get rid of.
They look very thin and spindly. I do forget about that when I'm used to chunky orcs, and then I'm looking at other kits going, Jesus, that'll snap if you stare at it for too long.
Yeah, I've been drilling my barrels as well as I've found weapons here, but it's some of them are pretty thin, so I had a couple of sketchy moments there where I was like, oh, that didn't go right, that's gone out the side, but no, I'm good. But yeah, rattle through it.
Good stuff.
What about yourself?
I managed to get a bit of basing done on my big mech. It's all like tidbits here and there. I never it's not like I've got anything super complete, but I've gotten a bit more on the war boss, did some metals, did some on the big mech, was doing the arms, and the straps, doing the straps for the war boss's arms, just throwing in, blocking in some base colors, you know, yourself,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
getting some, you know.
And you revealed most of an archer as well.
Oh well, yeah, I revealed most of an archer and a potential future conversion of something interesting I'll have to do. Yeah, there you go. There's I think it's Morgan Kell's archer, minus the right limb, but you know these things happen.
I love the stance actually. That's
It's because I know there's a normal archer as well, in a standard box set, and it's a little bit different pose wise. It's not massively different, but it's just the pose is slightly changed. I do know some of the I'm not even showing it on screen. I do know the pose on some of the mechs is different. Like I know the Daishi, one of the mechs, like the weapon loadout on this one is different compared to the one that you'll get in the standard box sets. Because it's got like an AC5 or whatever. I don't know the specifics of this one, but it's a custom loadout. So that one's slightly, it's a big one, man. I'm very surprised, like, at the size of it. Like, that's a chunky boy. Like, that's an orc boy there. And that's the Daishi. You know what I mean? It's an assault mech. Like, it's a big boy. It's one of the biggest ones you're going to come across. But just if you're comparing miniature size, they're, you know, some of them are big boyish. But yeah.
I love the detail on the feet as well. But there's a lot of overhang on that.
It'll be interesting to say the least. It does have a very sort of Ed 209 look to it, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it totally does.
Nice. All the guns.
Stairs in front of it, and we'll be safe.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Right, we're going to bounce over to the Discord work in progress. We're going to have a look. If you guys have any images, throw them in now. And we're jumping over. We're having a gander. There's a couple of pictures there, so, you know, you've still got a minute or two. But we're going to go over and have a look. So if we jump over to here, hopefully I've done it correctly. Hey! It worked. Jesus. What's the world come to? Right, so Gar was saying that he's retouching his commander for his Grot Guard and finishing a squiggly Rough Rider. So this is a Grot Guard army. For people who don't know, Grot Guard armies are typically Imperial Guard army rules, but they use Grots and conversions. So
that base is cool.
That's a swanky Rough Rider, man. I'm loving the Shigar and the Gob and the hat, and the base is pretty nice as well. Nice work on the old barbed wire. I'm liking the underbelly of the squig as well. Gar's work is he does some really nice work. There's a lot of stuff in the Discord if people go rooting around in it. There's a fair few bits and pieces. But yeah, it's looking nice, man. He's retouching his commander. Ah, that's a nice one. That's a nice conversion right there. Yeah, so many bits. Like I know the pelt and the cloak is off of the Chaos Warrior kit. From what I gather, this is like a knob body, and then he's done a lot of green stuff work here.
That's so cool. See, you can't go wrong. Anything they find, they'll use.
Damn straight. And it looks like a Bloodball head, is it? Bloodball Orc head or an Age of Sigmar head? Might be one or the other, but it's one of the newer. I always love this sort of. He's got a cap on and he can barely see out from underneath it. You know what I mean? I've always liked that sort of visual. That commissar look.
Over function.
Exactly. Well, it's 40k. Style over function is the norm, like.
Right.
Cracking base. Nice work there. Always nice work. Absolutely cracking work, man. Really is. And he's also working on some knobs for Nobvember. Oh yes, there's a Nobvember going on. So feel free to join in and get your knobs finished as you do. But you can see like he's using various bits and pieces. So he's got like an Auspex off of Space Marine. He's got like 3rd edition knob metal head. He's got some of the newer orc heads off of like Age of Sigmar or Bloodball. I don't know which one it is. But it's absolutely cracking. A bit of green stuff work going on. Some other dangly bits. Ammo pouches. Nice. Very characterful. Very nice. I like it. I'm going to hazard that it's Bloodball because he's putting them on 32mm bases with slots. So I'm going to hazard a guess that that's a Bloodball head. That that's what I'm putting me money on. I could be wrong. We'll go
it's
there.
the little hole in the base that gives it away for Bloodball.
Yeah. He seems to be standing over them. But yeah, because when I was doing the basing myself, I was having to clear out with a small brush while it was still wet. I was like, oh, does the ball still fit? Yeah, grand. Happy days.
Nice.
Cracking work. Garazinski, he's been working on a stretch Comlek half track that's gonna be a scorcher. Oh, nice, man. Very nice work. Nice Cromlech kit.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an OG searchlight there. Do you remember the old one from like the Predator Razorback with the spines on it? Nice bit in there.
Some great orc stuff.
Cromlech do some cracking stuff, man. G was saying it looks like an Orc head. Yeah, I get you, G. It's probably Orc. Some cracking stuff, Gar. Nice. Gar does some really nice work, so I'm looking forward to seeing that finished up. Nice engine block. Poke is working on a snakebite knob biker, sculpting a head for his boar. First time I've ever sculpted with green stuff. Only ever use it as gap filler. So hence the missing head for now. But it's I see the direction you're going for. I'm looking forward to seeing what he gets done with the head. If he's going to sculpt from scratch, I'm wondering what direction it's going to be. But
cool, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be nice done up. I'm liking the jewelry chain. Some cracking work there, and then the repurposing of the ogre. They're always pretty sweet. I wonder where he got the shoulder pad from. Very nice. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm dying to see what the sculpted head is going to be like. I mean, the only thing I've managed with putty and stuff would be like I've made my own bases. I've made some like tubes and things and like capes. The thought of making like an entire head, kudos.
You're like me. You're a dabbler. You've dabbled. I'm very much the same. But yeah, fair play to Poke. Hopefully it works out well.
Absolutely.
Dame says he's at work, but here's what's on my workbench. So Dame's cracking on with his trolls. And that Wood Elf Bloodball player whose name I forget, but I'm sure you know, Nick. And he's been doing Battletech again. You're one with the big hair, the big braid of hair. Yeah.
Is it Jordell Fresh Breeze, that one? No.
Might be. I've no idea. Your guess is better than mine. It seems like he.
I can't see chat, so I can't see if people are going, no!
No!
It's a ridiculous thing to say.
Nah. No, it's the female player, so it probably.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I do have the Spike magazine in the house. I could check.
But... Buried somewhere. But yeah, no, he's got a nice mix of stone trolls. So you've got like blue trolls, and you've got like some of the older metal ones. Hold on, I'll see if I can help you in this regard. You got some of the older metal ones, and you've got some of the newer ones in there, so some of the newer plastics. So it's looking pretty good in that regard. They're really nice, and I like that they're all sort of that OG sort of blue, so it's all tied together. You can see that all right there, Nick. Now I've tried to.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I've tried to change the screen share. I do forget at times. I tell you, you think I would have it down to a fine art at this point, but always learning. Yeah, so he's been cracking on. I like the blue. It's looking nice. I'd like to see him do the stomachs up. Do you know the way they do it? Sort of like a palish grey.
You would sort of like you would get that transition of colors on like a salmon or something. You're going through those. I love those. Anything that looks like a natural, like an organic transition, I think looks fantastic. Sometimes we kind of forget that there's a huge amount of reference material around us in the world. And if you want to sort of work out a good paint scheme to go with, go look at nature. You'll find out what works best with other colors.
It's almost like evolution has, you know, trial and error for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
like if you look at sort of shark coloration, you get a lot of that sort of blending in grays and in sort of darker blues and things. And I think like fish, any fish really will give you a really cool color transitions to work with.
nice. And his
Yeah,
basing, he's done a lot of custom basing and sculpting. Yeah, nice. It's been
yeah,
nice to
those
see him in
things.
progress. Yeah, they're cracking, man. He did brown stuff sculpting. He's obsessed with brown stuff sculpting when it comes to bases, but they're looking good, bud. They're looking good.
I love the bones and everything.
We've got Essex Boys. He says Def Copter and some of his son's Chaos Space Marines. So he's been cracking away at his Def Copter. Nice.
How would you look at that?
He's got a really nice spread. Essex Boys has got a challenge over there. You want to see some of his terrain, Nick. It's absolutely cracking. Nice little table he's got set up for himself and his son Dexter, I think is his name. They do have a good old laugh playing kill team and painting up orcs and doing some bits and pieces. But yeah, nice.
See, I
Very
respect
nice.
anyone who's going to go to that pain and the detail in those checkerboards, that they go to that effort and then grime it up. I just think that's so cool because the amount of work that goes into doing those checkers, and then it's just like, yeah, we're just going to put a wash over this now. It's like, oh, so thematic. I love the missiles at the front as well.
Cracking. Good old assault on Blackreach. Nice weathering, man. Really nice. And then is some Sun's Chaos Space Marines. Oh, these are obliterators, I think they are, aren't they? Big chunky boys. I think so. I think they're obliterators. I could be wrong now. I'm not a Spiky Boys fanboy.
Yeah, I know there's a Chaos Space Marines start collecting set that has, I think it's got obliterators in it, and they look pretty savage. I actually have a Hellbrute in the house that I got with the Dark Vengeance kit. And
Oh
it would
yeah,
go
yeah.
really well beside that.
Well, when I saw this, like initially before clicking on it, I was thinking, oh, maybe like War Boss, because I'm sure you could do something interesting with this for a War Boss. Like it seems chunky enough.
Totally.
Seems like a good base for a War Boss. You could do something interesting. Obviously, maybe get rid of the fleshy bits around the guns, but apart from that, you could do something interesting with the head, counter sink it a bit. Oh yeah, definitely. I could definitely see this being a decent Orc War Boss. So you know what to do if he ever gets bored with it. If Dexter ever gets bored of the Chaos Marines, I expect to see this chopped and changed. You know what I mean?
Scoop out the heretic head and
that's it.
In there instead. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely cracking work, Clint. Brack said he's work on Blood Axe Specialist Knob Rocket Boy. This is for November.
Look at that.
Nice assault cannon with a rocket launcher. So he's onto his priming stage.
I love rocket launcher so much.
Cracking. Nice work. And I think the wires are off of the Big Mech's shock attack gun. What's it called? It's not a shock attack one. It's the Big Mech and Mega Armor, and he's got a teleporter blaster. I have to remember the ridiculous names they come up for these things. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's looking good, Brack. I'm looking forward to seeing some paint on it.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Cracking work. And then more stuff from the Essex Boys.
Oh wow!
Sweet. Oh yeah, that flame work's really nice, man.
It really is.
Absolutely cracking work.
Staff as well. That sort of the coloration on whatever that icon is on the top of that. I love the yellow eyes.
They do. They pop, but they're not too much. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it's subtle, like the town's all sort of tied together.
Yeah, it's just the right level of disturbing. That's great.
Nice, man. Really nice. Those flames are sweet. Cracking work. Don't think we didn't notice Goofy supervising in the background neither. So Brack was cracking on with his knob. Fair play to you, Brack. You're doing fine work with that knob. I'll give you that much. He's got a rocket in his hand for a reload. Nice melee weapon specialist.
Necromand in November. I should have just gone with November.
Well, it's never too late to join. It's only the start of November.
Still time.
Brack is saying the knobs need a smashing. That they do. Cracking work.
We got so far into the evening without going there.
Well, you have to. You know what I mean? What's life without humor? Gorka Marcos is working on his big mech with shock attack gun conversion.
Oh,
It's
would you look at
old
that?
school. Got some new bits bashed in there. Nice. Liking the rust.
That is, yeah. That is, how is that hanging together with all that rust? Orcs, that's the answer. Orcs is the answer. That's why it's hanging together.
Sheer will. It's like I'm balancing on my shoulder, and that's the end of it.
Look at that, like the pipe coming out the side. You can just imagine the plumes of black smoke chugging out of that thing when it's trying to fire. So cool.
Definitely. I think by the looks of it, it looks like it's more danger to the guy firing it than anyone downrange. But sure, that's
Everyone
have.
around him.
Yeah. There'll just be bits flying left, right, and center, just whing, going missing. But yeah, I like it, man. I see what he's done because I have one of these myself, and it's the old sort of second ed rogue trader era stuff where they had a separate sprue for the arms. So he's put the axe arm on, and he's done one of the crafty things that you can get away with. The shoulder joint doesn't be great, so you're sticking the old shoulder pad on there, and bish bash bosh. No one's the wiser. I like it. You know what I mean? These little tricks you have to pick up. Yeah, it's looking good, man. It's looking good. And the red mech, he's painting some filthy crons, but they look nice.
Oh wow.
They do look nice. Very clean.
Those colors so contrasty. It's great.
They're nice. I've no idea what these are called. Potential loot. That's about it. But they do look sweet, man. Nice glaives. I like the green on the big glaives. I wonder if he did it in that new technical paint. Don't the Necrons have a new technical paint for like doing green and glows and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's got that slight translucence to it as well. That's cool. I think those bits hanging down, are they gold or is it?
Yeah, like a sort of a coppery, goldy color.
Yeah, because that works really well against that glowing green.
And the metal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
They look sweet, man. They do.
Looks like a rhino would just smack straight through them, though. I don't think they'd.
You don't think that the last? Yeah, they look. Yeah, they look pretty ethereal, sort of. They got that sort of. Yeah. And then he's cracking on with these guys, who I don't know the names of either, but they look like they're busy working on the metals.
That's nice, actually. I like that sort of the goldy metal and then that sort of bluish sort of steel. They go well together.
Yeah, the difference in between them. Kobe Taylor is asking where are these from someone's Discord. Yeah, they're from the 40k Orc community Discord. We're looking at the work in progress for folk. I think there is a link to the Discord there. Feel free to join up. It's for the 40k Orc community Facebook page. You can join there as well. I'm sure there's a link in the description of this video, along with a link to Nick's YouTube page, and you'll also find on my YouTube page the top channel would be Nick's Grayprimer channel. So if you're ever perusing my channel at a later date, you'll see him there.
Cool.
Cookie counts as combi Scorcher. So Brack has been busy with his knobs, alright. Yet to be named combi Scorcher. He's been bashing bits and working wonders with probably that Restolium primer that you're banging on about. Or I'm sure there's an Australian brand. He is in the land down under. That's an Assault on Blackreach knob, but you notice them anywhere. And that's a Space Marine Powerfist. Cracking. May have borrowed this idea. Pair of lightning claws. Yeah. Yeah, they're characterful.
Amazing as well.
Yeah, they're good. They're good crack, man. I like them. I'd like to see a power pack on the back of him, like some cabling going from the gauntlets into a power pack or something, or some sort of generator. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just like, visually, that'd be nice. Sweet.
Such heresy.
Such hair. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Poke uploaded the wrong picture, he said. So there is the there's the head that he's got cracked on. Got cracking on it. So you have your eyes, your snout. You've got your tusks.
Tusks there, yeah.
Yeah, fair play to you, Poke. Jesus, you're doing better than I would. Definitely. Yeah.
Chains now as well, like jewelry chains.
Mm.
That's cool.
Yeah, because the head on these normally is massive, isn't it? So I can see where you're going, where you're following the line of the body more so.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely makes it more, much more closer to nature, that kind of flow.
Mm.
But that's cool.
With the bulk of it, it's cracking. And then, don't think I didn't notice. See that barrel there, dude? You better be getting a bleeding drill bill out there, but drill that barrel. Tell you. Orc stuff is saying he's deconstructing knobs. Oh my god. It looks like they've gone through the washer alright.
Good lord.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's all orc knobs. He's deconstructing them before he gives them the once over. So he's been taking them apart. I'm hazarding a guess that he's probably bought them second hand, and he's just taking a lump hammer to them by the looks of it. And he's taking them apart. Yeah, orc stuff does cracking work with resculpting with milliput. Fair play to you, dude. It does look the business. And Steve-O, still chipping away at the tank busters. I'm liking the red, man. It's a really nice red, and he's done some decent work on the yellows.
Red is speed, is that right, in Orc?
Red ones do indeed go faster, so he's hoping those rockets get out there quickly. Whether they hit the mark or not, I don't know. You might have to paint the rockets blue for him to be lucky. But
And what's purple stealth?
Sneaky, yeah, purple sneaky. Yellow's flash, So you could do some sneaky rockets if you painted them purple if you're that way inclined. And there we go. That's the work in progress that we have, folks. That's everything that we've seen so far. We've overrun. I do apologise for holding you up, Nick. We've gone 20 minutes over schedule. It's been great crack, I have to say. I've enjoyed having you on. We had a bit of banter, but
yeah.
we knew it would be a great crack. We had good chemistry in that Galcon Discord. I was like, he's a good fish. We'll have to get him on. Yourself.
I think that's why I was there till the wee hours most nights. I don't think we got a huge amount of hobbying done between any of us. It's just
it's just the Irish way. Talk the legs off of a chair. We'll get there in the end. Maybe you'll get a little bit of hobby done, but you'll have a good laugh in the meantime. You'll have a good laugh.
It gave me a little break from those Necromand starter sets and doing scenery. I gotta tell you, I won't be able to look at another scenery sprue for a couple of months.
Well, yeah. Hopefully you'll have safety glasses on the next time, just in case another clipper dies to the sprue.
Don't even talk.
It's like shh, too soon. Too soon.
I want to do like a health and safety video at some point, but then I realized that, my Stanley knife, my little folded Stanley knife, about like a half a centimeter from my eyes tonight. So yeah, I'm not the person to be talking health and safety.
Well, we don't have the best record either, to be honest with you. We have a few war wounds, myself and Steve as well. I'm sure he'd be able to agree. But
poison down one side and fire on the other.
Yeah, it's like highly flammable. Don't breathe vapor, poison, sharp objects, flammable. Yeah, we're a walking health hazard when it comes to this hobby. Definitely. So it's been great crack, folks. Thanks for everyone who's joined in the comments section. Thank you to everyone who has trying to work in progress into the Discord. Don't forget, as I've said before, go check out Nick's channel. He does a lot of unboxings. He's doing absolutely cracking work. He's got a lot of stuff going for Bloodball, Necromand. He did a Baneblade video as well, which I was rather impressed with. I thought it was really good. Absolute beast. You will find a link to his channel in the description for this video. And as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll catch you in the next episode. So it's bye from me.
That's goodbye from me.
Take it easy, folks. See you again.
Bye.
Bye.